At this point in time, we need all NATEX members. Please come to the stage. All NATEX members. We're about to begin. All NATEX members to the stage, please. Also, could a member of the Caroni Central Executive come to the stage immediately, please? Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters of the United National Congress. Before we begin today's proceedings, I ask your attention to the stage as we prepare for an OSHA announcement by Mr. Peter Kanhai.
Good afternoon, all. We don't expect any emergencies today, but should there be one, you are to exit the hall through the gates to the back of the hall and make your way over to the grassed area opposite the hall. Washrooms, the ladies' washrooms are located to my left, your right, and the male washrooms are located to my right, your left, wrong to the back. And should you need it, there is a medical station under the big white tent to the left. And there are barrels of water placed around the hall and the tents to help you with the heat. Thank you very much.
Good evening again, ladies and gentlemen. We are gathered here this afternoon for National Congress. And this meeting of our National Congress is duly constituted in accordance with Article 11 of the party's constitution. We have in attendance today members of the National Executive, representatives of each constituency, and additional representatives as required, members of Parliament, as well as mayors, chairmen, and councillors. And in keeping with the norms of the party, we also have members here who are considered as observers to this event. At this point in time, I invite to the stage Ms. Angela Didier to bring us the national anthem.
To all protocols observed, special distinguished and invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, please stand with me as we sing our national anthem for the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. Forged from the love of liberty in the fires of hope and prayer, with boundless faith in our destiny, we solemnly declare. Side by side we stand, islands of the blue Caribbean Sea. This our native land. We pledge our lives to thee. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our nation. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our nation. Thank you.
You may be seated. Those, our guests, our brothers and sisters in the tent, please come forward into the hall. Would you please make your way into the hall? Before we begin, we would ask blessings from Almighty God. And at this time, I would like to invite Pandit Anil Singh to bring us blessings.
Sit down, everyone. Ask everyone to please stand. Let us all clasp our hands, closing our eyes, bow our head in prayer. This evening, O Prabhu, you have given us this opportunity, the privilege to come to join, O Prabhu, this Congress, together with the members of this Congress, O Prabhu, together with us all as a family, to listen to Prabhu, the knowledge, the inspirations to help us, O Prabhu, to upgrading ourselves, both physically and also spiritually. Today, as we're given this opportunity, let us be able to help ourselves to become better individuals in this world, also in society. And with your blessings, O Prabhu, may you help us, O Prabhu, with our understanding heart and mind. Hari Om, Om Sri Ganeshaya Namaha, Sri Saraswate Mataya Namaha, Sri Guru Charana Kamale Bhyo Namo Namaha, Om Vakratunda Mahakaya, Surya Kote Samaprabha, Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva, Sarvakayashu Sarvara, Om Namo Namo Vijnana Rupaya, Paramananda Rupine, Krishna Gopinataya, Govindaya Namo Namam, Govindaya Namo Namam, Prem Subrasigajanand Swami Ki Jai Shanam. Aap sab log baith jayega. Please take a seat, everyone. Thank you.
We'll now invite Mr. Colin Lizama to bring blessings from the Christian community.
We remain standing, please. We come to God in prayer. Let us pray. Lord of every time and every place, God of integrity and truth, we pray for your guidance in this afternoon's Congress. We pray for this land and for this party, a place that is open to the diversity of all our peoples. We pray for our leaders, we pray for our national executive, our constituent executives, and all organs in between, that all may work for the common good of the members of this great party and the people of Trinidad and Tobago, that they uphold the principles of fairness, honesty, and truth, protect our parliamentary representatives all engaged in public life, and even hold on to their families' most holy God. Direct those who influence opinion through our media, that they may speak as you, O Lord, will guide. Lord of every time and every place, we pray for wisdom. We pray for a people committed and dedicated to the welfare of this party. And we thank you, God, for those who have stood with this party, even in the dark moments, and that you, O God, will continue to give this party strength to serve this nation. We pray that you make each of us and all of us, a blessing to all people, not just those who wear the same colors as we do, but let all know that we are open to all, and that you will bless us as we bless all. Even so, God, remember this time, our brothers and sisters in the islands, Antigua, Barbuda, even in Indonesia and Nepal and other parts of Asia. Oh God, may your hands pour out upon them. May your blessings be upon them. May you protect them and guide them in their times of trouble, in this moment of darkness. Lord, hear our prayer. God bless this country. God bless our people. God bless our leaders. God bless this party. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
We'll now invite Ms. Patsy to the stage to bring blessings from the Baptist community.
Good afternoon, everybody, and let us join hands and call the Almighty God. This evening, Blessed Father, look at us here, Father. We gathered here, calling you as ever before. Give us strength, compassion, understanding with love. My God and my Redeemer, remember us, darling. Remember us, darling Jesus. We hear there and everywhere. Have mercy, Lord. Look at the countries at large. Look at Trinidad and Tobago, Father. Blood washing us, Jesus. But my God and my Redeemer, help us, Father God. Help us stop it, Jesus. In no other name, but in Jesus' name. My God and my Redeemer, look at my leader again, Jesus. Look at the woman servant, willing to serve you, willing to call you blessed, but in no other name but your name. Give her the strength and all our people, Lord, all in, out, and across. Give us courage to fight the good fight with all our might. Amen.
I will now invite Imam Rashid Karim to bring blessings from the Islam community.
Let us all join our hearts, our minds, our bodies, our soul. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. I seek refuge in God Almighty, the most gracious, the most merciful. I ask God Almighty to bless us, to forgive us, to have mercy upon us. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen Ar-Rahmanir Rahim Maliki Yawmiddin Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in Ihdina as-siratal mustaqim Siratal ladhina an'amta alayhim ghayril maghdubi alayhim waladdallin. Ameen. Rabbana atina fi dunya hasanatan wa fil akhirati hasanatan wa qina adhaban nar. Our Lord, I ask thee to grant us goodness in this life, goodness in the hereafter, and save us from the torment of the grave and the torment of the day of judgment. Our Lord, we are all gathered here today, seeking your mercies, seeking your guidance, seeking your blessings. We ask thee for you to forgive us for whatever mistakes that we may have committed, knowingly or unknowingly, hiddenly or openly, consciously or unconsciously. We ask thee, O God Almighty, to bless our leaders. We ask thee to bless our political leader of the United National Congress, the Honorable Kamala Prasad Bisesa. We ask thee, O Lord, to keep us in the straight path. Guide our hearts to the path of righteousness. Forgive us and have mercy upon us. And today, as we deliberate in our Congress, we ask thee that you grant us your mercies, your protection, and your kindness. And also remember our brothers and sisters who are suffering from the atrocities of the earthquake, of the hurricane, and all natural disasters. We ask thee to guide us, to protect us, and to forgive us, and to have mercy upon us, and help us that we may have a successful endeavor today. Amin. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun. Wassalamun ala al-mursaleen. Walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Birahmatika ya arrahmar rahimin. Amin.
You may all be seated. Brothers and sisters, it's always a pleasure when I have my UNC family around me. You know, when you're away from family, you miss them. I miss my UNC brothers and sisters. Lovely to see you all here this afternoon. At this time, I want to bring to you the chairman of the United National Congress, The people of Pointe-à-Pierre voted carefully and trusted David Lee. And we also trust our chairman. So please hold on. He's coming to the stage right now. And welcome him. Let's have a nice round of applause. Welcome our chairman.
Thank you. Thank you, Denisha, chair of today's proceedings. Let me first start off by congratulating our Trinbago Night Riders on our victorious victory last night. On behalf of United National Congress and the political leader, we congratulate them, Dwayne Barrow and his team. Political leader of United National Congress, opposition leader, MP Siparia, the Honorable Mrs. Kamala Prasad Bisesa, SC, members of Parliament of United National Congress, senators here today, mayor, chairman, councillors, aldermen of corporations, constituency executive, national executive, brothers, sisters of United National Congress, invited guests, media. United National Congress, are you fed up of the PNM? Are you fed up of the separation that has been plaguing our nation? Are you fed up of Keith Rowley as your prime minister? Well, the time is now. It's time to stand up against this wicked government. Brothers and sisters, in a matter of 2 short years, our nation has plummeted from a paradise into a nation in crisis, all because of this current administration. They show no compassion for the people. They have no vision for our development. They have no plan to improve our lives and the future of our people. Brothers and sisters, this is a government that does not care about the prosperity of our citizens. School reopened this past week, and many parents were not able to send their children back to school. Under this Rowley administration, parents have been forced to choose between putting a meal on the table or books in their children's bags. The standard of living which our citizens once enjoyed under the Honorable Kamala Prasad Bisesa has been destroyed by this administration. Family life under this administration is in crisis. Brothers and sisters, if suffering the people wasn't bad enough, this government has stifled and stagnated the national economy. Medium and small businesses are closing. Foreign exchange is in a crisis. This government has no vision and plan to turn around this economy. Their plan is to tax, tax, and more tax. People are losing their jobs daily. People on contract employment are not being renewed. And the destruction continues. Crime is unabated. They have no plan to stop the flow of the murders, the senseless killing of our people. This is a government by glitch, my brothers and sisters. Today, as this PNM government suffers, we, the people, always say it is a glitch. Marlene McDonald was fired twice by Rowley. He says it was a glitch. Every ministry the PNM, the Prime Minister puts Fitzgerald Hines, he is fired. He says it's a glitch. He appoints a man to be a minister in public utilities and then fires him just a couple days after, and he says it's a glitch. The PNM in Tobago recently said the ferry deal under his administration sounds and looks crooked. But you know what Sinanan told him? He says, Prime Minister, it's only a glitch. This is a government of glitches, my brothers and sisters. Today, we meet as a family to pool our ideas together. We meet to create a vision and converse as a family in an effort to build and to better the lives of not only our membership, but the nation as a whole. Brothers and sisters, we must reclaim our country for those young single mothers who are less fortunate but would have benefited under the Kamala Prasad Bisesa-led government. We must reclaim for those fathers and mothers who are now unemployed and unable to provide for their families. We must reclaim our country to ensure safety and security and a future for our children and grandchildren. Brothers and sisters, the key to reclaiming our land is in revitalizing, re-establishing, and reinvigorating the core values of our great UNC party, which are service to our fellow men, giving a voice to those who need to be heard, people-centered development, equity, and justice for all. Brothers and sisters, in the past 2 years, the UNC has made great strides in protecting the rights and liberties of our citizens. Every week in Parliament, we fight for you. When I became chairman of this great party in December 2015, it was a very uncertain time, given that we had now entered opposition. but I felt proud to be part of a team that calmed and stabilized this situation for the task ahead. Today, I can stand here proud and say together with your political leader, your national executive, all our MPs and senators, councillors, and most importantly, you, the members of this great party, we have created a well-oiled machine that is ready to defeat the PNM whenever elections is called. Brothers and sisters, in the last local government elections in November 2016, we had incredible results. We not only retained our corporations and seats, but we took seats away from the PNM. Brothers and sisters, in the past 2 years, we ensured constituency elections were held on time. As promised 2 years ago, we have ensured that executives and members are not isolated from the functioning of the party, as many of us continue to meet with you in various constituencies on a regular basis. Brothers and sisters, we have held 2 successful fundraisers as the UNC works towards building its home. In August 2016, we were faced with finding a new home, and we successfully did that too. But as a family, we need to have a permanent home, our own home. I'm proud to say our political leader has a plan and a vision for your party. The past 24 months, we have held 32 Monday night forums throughout the length and breadth of our country. These Monday night meetings have become the people's parliament. As a party, we are grateful for all of those who have supported and ensured the success of these meetings. Brothers and sisters, if we are to become the next government, we need your unconditional support. We need more members to volunteer now to assist in party activities. We need members to assist in raising funds for your party, either by making donations to the party or by purchasing tickets for our events. We need your unconditional support now. Together as a party, we can save our nation, but we as individuals must change our approach. We must extend and reinforce our commitment. Many have been given in the past, but we need you more than ever now. We need you to create new members. We need you to build local party groups. We need you to attend your party events. The political needs you now. Many times we ask, what is in it for me? Your aim must be simple and focused. The answer must be to build a better country for the lives of your fellow men. We are the only political party led by the Honorable Kamla Persad-Bissessar that can save our country from this wicked PNM government. The Pandey government did it in '95. Kamla Persad-Bissessar did it in May 2010. And with your unconditional support, we will do it again with the Honorable Kamla Persad-Bissessar. I make this promise for you. As I close, my brothers and sisters, as our nation marks 55 years as independence and 41 years as a republic, I quote, we must stand together to save our nation. We must protect our people, and we must save it from the destruction of the PM. Long live the United National Congress. Long live the Honorable Kamla Persad-Bissessar.
Thank you very much, Chairman. At this point in time, brothers and sisters of the United National Congress, please direct your attention to the screens provided. Closest screen to you, please direct your attention to the screen as we take in a video presentation.
I see somebody need to come out and talk. Somebody need to come out and talk, because I was very impressed. I tell you, I was impressed when I saw this 24 scandal in 24 months. The first scandal, Faris Al-Rawi, Edmund Dillon sworn in as ministers before the swearing in. So ladies and gentlemen, from the very conception, the start of it, ladies and gentlemen, they had a mix-up. Faris Al-Rawi, Minister Dillon, sworn in before the Prime Minister. Look at this. Go ahead.
I, Faris Al-Rawi, do swear by Almighty God that I will bear true faith and allegiance to Trinidad and Tobago and will uphold the Constitution and the law, that I will conscientiously, impartially, and to the best of my ability discharge my duties as Attorney General and do all right to all manner of people without fear or favor, affection or ill will.
Remember this incident now. I'm just reading 24 scandal for you. Look at this part. Edmund Dillon, go ahead. The same September 2015.
Major General Edmund Dillon, retired Member of Parliament for Point Fortin, to take his oath of office.
I, Edmund Ernest Dillon, do swear.
In September 2015, it started off. You see, when something starts off in couture, it don't end in peace, you know. It don't end nice. When things start off in bacchanal, as the old people say, there's a saying in Trinidad, don't wait for the light to come off to look for something. Don't wait. The light on, what you're seeing now, when you see, whatever you're seeing now, don't wait for the light to take off to look for it. Light on, and look at mistake already. Ladies and gentlemen, in October 2015, it was on every social network. Everybody carried this picture, saying, but wait now, these are children these are children, relatives of the Attorney General. And let me hold up with that. Let me hold up with that before we show the pictures. Everybody get upset. But when the unruly and them, or somebody take up a gun, we can go lock them up really fast. Why you think I don't go after with anybody and give me picture? Give me picture to put up with people holding gun. Let them hold gun. Let them go on Facebook and hold machine gun and 9mm and shotgun. Let all them bandits and who selling drugs and gun and AK and sleeping and say, boy, ting, gun all on my chest. Because if the Attorney General relatives could get away with that, why we should go after the little black boys and them who flexing with gun? Why we should go after the little East Indian boys and the Chinese boys and them who have gun and coasting on Facebook? Why? What good for the up there? Down here must be good for up there. Because the children, the relatives of the AG, the children of the AG is no different to the people on Facebook. You remember that picture? Go ahead. You remember these photos? Watch. You remember that? You remember that? Come back to me. Yeah. That was in October 2015. So don't play all that talking. I'm just showing you today. You're going back again. You remember in December 2015, biting hard in this country, the man said, tighten your belt. But if you wanted a painting, I could have come and maybe paint myself and give it to you. I could have give it to you. He paid Casabon and them. Casabon, 1.9 million. 1.9 million for painting. And stop the $500 baby grant. 1.9 million. Look the painting, everybody seeing painting. When you see all that in Sansu scene real? No, I'm just showing you. I'm showing you back on that thing. It's 2 years. It's 2 years. I don't have a problem with you, my boy. Because you know going on big man thing. You can come and lock me up anytime. I tell you, I get locked up twice, you know. And as I tell people, once a jailer, always a jailer. Handcuff can intimidate me. You can lock up my body, but you can't lock up my mind. You can't lock up my dreams. I must come out. Now, I say in jailer. I say in jailer because that's how we say it in Trinidad. Once a jailer, twice a jailer. You understand? So that's how we say it. Because let me tell you something. We are no money. We are no money. But you buying painting for $1.9 million, boy? And I hear that just small talk. It was more than that. I hear that it was more than that. You come back in December, same December 2015. The then minister, Nicole Oliveira, solicit money from energy company to run a beauty pageant in the constituency. You remember that? You remember that? Asking, listen to me, all that is public knowledge. All that is public knowledge. All that is public knowledge. The then Minister of Energy, Nicole Oliveira, solicit money from Oliveri or whatever her name is, solicit money from energy companies to run a beauty pageant. I know why, you know. Because if you had gone in that pageant, you would have been last. You would have been last. What about the beauty queen with the gun? Not forgetting, Dick, Dora, and Harry, businessmen, legitimate businessmen, running a legitimate business, having to go by the bank, can't get a firearm. Because you know what? One man wife, well, I don't know if she's a former beauty queen. I don't know, I don't see beauty there. They say beauty in the eyes of people, but to me from Shagonas, I don't find you all that hot. I wouldn't give you a second watch. I.A.N. wouldn't give you a second watch. You know she get gun? You know the commissioner of police sign a gun for she? Because he is the only person signing gun. What she doing with a gun? What she have to protect? But because your husband is minister, you get gun. But when businessmen working hard and carrying money to the bank and getting gunned down and getting robbed and people falling, them can't get gun. But certain security company getting firearm, but the small security and them, those companies that are being run by East Indian and Afro-Trinidadian can't get nothing, not even a variation. Talk to me now. In 2016, January 2016, I read a scandal, chronic shortage of pharmaceutical for cancer and diabetes, high blood pressure, CDAP drugs found to be fake. Look at Bacchanal now, boy. Look at Bacchanal. And they are shorted. Let me tell you something. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, you can't even get drugs for cancer patient. You can't even get injection. You can't get nothing. I tell you, watch me. You can't even get a bed. It's better lie down the road and dead. This is 2 years. 2 years you in the dance. 2 years you in the dance. 2 years you need and people get a chance. You wale, you get on like a wajang, but we get a chance. We give you a chance. The people give you a chance. That's why don't vex with Guardian. Don't vex with the sub-guard them. Don't vex with nobody when they put us on the front page. They get a chance. Everybody get a chance. Ladies and gentlemen, in February 2016, Committee Regis Robinson deposited 93,000 in a bank without a source of funds. She got 93,000 just so. And when they check up, let me tell you something, when they checked up, where she said she withdraw and she take out, it wasn't adding up. 93,000 you walk to our bank. But let me tell you something. When you go to pay off a loan, you have to sign the document under the money laundering act now. They have where you could sign and say the source, where you get this from, if a contractor, if who somebody give me. No explanation, you know. But when the small man do that, and he say he doubles money, the bank want to call, how can I squat for him? Well, how come we didn't investigate that? That is why every day I stand here. Any member of my staff found in any racket, don't come by me and all you know. Go straight to the police. I tell everybody know that. Anybody slip with me, I don't care, they could be my best friend. And anybody affiliated with Crime Watch, and you know they're in Bacchanal outside, that is why, pray to God I don't ever become the Minister of National Security. Boy, not even my joint, a little ball of cocaine you're getting away with. Just imagine that. In 2016, Marlene McDonald fired over housing allegation that had been investigated. 2016, Marlene getting her Bacchanal. I'm showing you. So you see, you don't understand the 24 months, the 24 scandals in 24 months. But you know you can multiply this by 100. There's still a little bit of scandal in 24 months. This probably 1,000 in 24 months. That when Marlene get locked up. That when Farris canceled $1.3 billion lawsuit against former Petrochin Malcolm Jones. $1.3 billion of taxpayers' money. That's why they have to close down Petrochin today. That is why, and nothing come out of that. Imagine Farris cancel that. Will you cancel that for? So we can get back that money again. Hey boy. I tell you what, I ain't done yet. I never know when I could go so long. Let's take a break.
My brothers and sisters of United National Congress, that is not even the 24 scandals, but that is the reason why we need to get rid of the People's National Movement and bring back UNC to the corridors of government. We need to do that. I keep saying it's like we're playing a snake and ladder and they're throwing the dice and we're just dialing back. We ended up down the snake mouth.
Like no other, to many a mother. Some say she is the mother of
At this point
nation
in time,
because of the love she have for the population, and she is a true Trinidadian.
we would like to stand
lady, some
and
call her a
welcome
queen.
our honorable political leader, none other than the Honorable Mrs. Kamla Prasad Bisesa.
A woman like no other, to many a mother. Some say she is the mother of this nation because of the love she have for the population, and she is a true Trinidadian. This lady, some call her a queen. And if you know her, you would see what I mean, because she fit the role with her winning smile and her heart of pure gold. Over 25 years, she toiled to make sure we were alright, and made sure we were safe and could sleep sound in the night. All she had was love for the people of this country, sweet TNT. Love for you and me, and all she ever wanted was for us to be all that we could be, because she inspired us to dream big dreams. Now it's like back to the future, because all we know now is torture. All her hard work now being dismantled by the rowdy PNM, who don't care for them or care for you or me or we. But she will save sweet TNT, because one day soon she will be back to put us back on track, and only then we will rise again. So my people, whether you be far or near, I say have no fear, because Kamla is here. A woman like no other, to many a mother. Some say she is the mother of this nation because of the love she have for the population, and she is a true Trinidadian. This lady, some call her a queen, and if you know her, you would see what I mean, because she fit the role with her winning smile and her heart of pure gold. Over 25 years, she toiled to make sure we were alright, and made sure we were safe and could sleep sound in the night. All she had was love for the people of this country, sweet TNT. Love for you and me, and all she ever wanted was for us to be all that we could be, because she inspired us to dream big dreams. Now it's like back to the future, because all we know now is torture. All her hard work now being dismantled by the rowdy PNM, who don't care for them or care for you or me or we. But she will save sweet TNT, because one day soon she will be back to put us back on track, and only then we will rise again. So my people, whether you be far or near, I say have no fear, because Kamla is here. A woman like no other, to many a mother. Some say she is the mother of this nation because of the love she have for the population, and she is a true Trinidadian. This lady, some call her a queen, and if you know her, you would see what I mean, because she fit the role with her winning smile and her heart of pure gold. Over 25 years, she toiled to make sure we were alright, and made sure we were safe and could sleep sound in the night. All she had was love for the people of this country, sweet TNT. Love for you and me, and all she ever wanted was for us to be all that we could be, because she inspired us to dream big dreams.
Ladies and gentlemen, the political leader of United National Congress. You know, the leader just walked into this hall and the facial expression of every single person sitting in front of me has changed to a big smile. That is the effect of this woman, a hero. I have a smile on my face too. I'd like to bring my brother, a youth like myself, Mr. Chris Arshad Hussain, new councillor, extremely efficient councillor, to bring us a report for the UNC National Youth Arm.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Madam Political Leader, the Honorable Kamla Prasad Bisesa, my NATEX colleagues, senators, MPs, fellow local government representatives, party officials, delegates, members of the media, my UNC brothers and sisters, good afternoon. Yes. It is indeed a great afternoon here in COUVA. And let me just say how privileged I am to stand side by side with my UNC brethren today as we prepare to take back the reins of governance of our country from this wicked, Rowley-led PNM government that has collapsed. We have never been better positioned to take up the mantle of leadership, especially at a time where it is so desperately needed in Trinidad and Tobago. And I am sure you would agree with me when I say that this government has been the most anti-youth, anti-education, and anti-development in the history of our country. Now, I have not been along for very long. I have not been around for so long. I have only been here for a mere 24 years. But when you speak to the elders in the communities, those who have toiled for years to build our country, they will tell you that in all their years, they have never seen a more reckless government. 2 years ago, we were warned by our political leader of the nightmare that Trinidad and Tobago would find itself in if we would allow Keith Rowley to take over governance in this country. Do you remember that? And today, brothers and sisters, we are living that nightmare, and with each day that passes, it gets worse. And so I tell you, Trinidad and Tobago, it is time to wake up. Wake up and stand against blatant incompetence. Wake up and stand against corruption. Wake up and stand against Ferrygate. Wake up and stand against property tax. Wake up and stand against arrogant ministers. Wake up and stand against the continued closure of the Children's Hospital. Wake up and stand against the closure of Gate, my brothers and sisters. And as we are on the topic of Gate, would you imagine that we now have a minister who is completely out of touch with reality and who now dictates whether your children would have an opportunity to access tertiary education? Is it now that we have gone back to the days where you need to be a part of an elite club with strong ties to the PNM in order for your children to access funding for tertiary education from some secret scholarship slush fund? Brothers and sisters, we have traded in a government that worked for, that has worked for us for one that has abandoned their duties. We have traded in a government who uplifted the downtrodden in society for one who kicks the poor and vulnerable in their time of need. We have traded in a government with a real youth agenda for one that has no regard for the young people. In 2 years, Rowley and the PNM has neglected our nation's youth in every way imaginable. Instead of empowering our young people, they have oppressed us. Now, while in opposition, we understand now, as we have then, the vulnerability of our young people in society where they are very easily influenced. And as such, the UNC Youth Arm has been working assiduously to plug the gap which the PNM has created. We have embarked on a number of initiatives, from feeding the homeless to assisting our youths with back-to-school supplies, from sporting events to cultural and religious observances, from charitable ventures to ventilating national issues. We have been listening to the problems of our nation's youth as we have begun a series of consultations in various constituencies across the country. And I take this opportunity to let you know that our Youth Budget Forum will soon come. And while it is good to listen to the issues we face as young people in society, I would like you to please take note that us UNC youths are proactive, and we have a wealth of innovative ideas and solutions collectively. We have begun putting together several policy documents with proposed solutions to our problems to be submitted to the NATEX, which would therefore thereafter be adopted as part of our party's official stance on these issues as we go forward. But while we hold steadfast to these initiatives as we await them to be implemented when we get into government, we are in no way silent on what has been happening in the present day. We have been speaking out on a national level on issues of crime, access to education, students' welfare, among other things. But I ask you today, brothers and sisters, in the year 2017, should we be having these problems? This, in my humble estimation, is totally unacceptable, and we must stand up and let our voices be heard. Tell Keith Rowley and the PNM that we are not happy. Tell them that we are fed up. Tell them that enough is enough. No longer should we suffer in silence while the PNM continues their rampage in our country. I ask you today to stand strong and stand united as we move forward to take our country back from the incompetence that has overtaken it. Long live the United National Congress. Long live the Honorable Kamla Persad-Bissessar. And long live you, the people of Trinidad and Tobago. I thank you and God bless.
Yes, my brother, Chris Ashad Hussein. Listening to your speech, I heard you said that the UNC you'd want to fill the gap that the PNM has created. I want to take it a step further. We don't just want to fill the gap in opposition. We want to take up the space in government and bring back good governance to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. At this point in time, my brothers and sisters, I ask you to take your attention to the nearest screen to you as we prepare for another video presentation.
Let me tell you something. I'm watching this, right? I know when I investigated the stadium, it had bacchanal, this one coming, that one coming, pressure washing people. I call one name. But this is the same people who come. Because let me tell you something. To put things on our front page, the man who's selling the papers, he can't sanction that, you know. The lady who print, the people who printing this can't sanction that in Chagonas, you know. For this to go front page, to discredit the PNM like this, because this is the worst blow the PNM could get. Nah, boy. I'm thinking all kind of thing, boy. Right now, they say, in town, around Balize House and the Prime Minister office, check all the pharmacies, all on the avenue and thing. All Panadol out of the shelf. They're feeling sick, gravel gone, everybody gone. Yeah, it gone. Ladies and gentlemen, Attorney 2016, May 2016, Attorney Kerwin Garcia paid $431,000 within 10 days of submitting an invoice to UDICOT, which is chaired by his uncle Noel Garcia. What bacchanal is that? Tell me what bacchanal is that now? How come you never investigate that, but you want to go after now a witch hunt? You're digging up since God was a little boy to see what the partnership did, all kind of thing. Because you know what? When you can't beat you, listen to me. You're fighting dirty now. You're dealing with the opposition. If you can lock up a dog with a yellow jersey, you lock up the dog. And that is what we are going to see in Trinidad, because he has taken the template of Maduro, bring it in Trinidad, because they didn't see him whining with Maduro. Birds of a feather flock together. Because you can't tell me Donald Trump, the President of the United States of America, tell Maduro, don't call my phone. Restore democracy, law and order, and I will speak to you. But you have the Prime Minister of a 2x2 country dancing with the man. Why didn't carry him in New York too? Tell me. $431,000, ladies and gentlemen. The man submit that. Just imagine that. Also, ladies and gentlemen, and in 2016, to this right now, reforestation workers, how much people can't get their money in this country? Contractors can't get their money. Look right now in Chagonas. Are going after the... Boy. Look, I have it here. Contractors calling on CEO. Raymond C. Paul of Chagonas Borough, the CEO of Chagonas Borough, pay them their money. Raymond C. Paul, the CEO of Chagonas Borough, we want to know. But let me go back. How many contractors waiting for the money right now? When people work and have staff, do you know, we live in times where people can come and gun down these contractors and them, gun down the supervisor, because they are of the opinion the supervisor must be getting money, so look, the hell was with all you. Yeah, because let me tell you something. Rowley in 2016 said, I want my money for my suspension pay from Parliament, but closes TDC, GISL, Carney Green, CNMG, and GISL. The man closed down all that. He closed down TDC. He closed down GISL. He closed down Carney, CNMG. Shut down all these places. So these people don't want their money too. Look at the video. Look at the video.
I'll tell you all something. Every month I get my salary. I work very hard for it. I am in no position to take $1. I want every cent I work for and I want it on time.
Lincoln shamed to stand up and say that. Lock him up, you know. I don't have nothing to lose again, you know. Rowdy, I tell you, watch me lock him up. Watch me lock up I waiting for, you know. Is lock up I waiting for? You saying you want every money, so the maxi taxi drivers that transported the children, why they have to beg for the money? Why? Why people have to beg for the money? Why everybody have to come in and beg like dog for the money? Why the single mothers have to beg for the money? Why the URP have to beg for the money? Why? But you can stand up and say, when I work, I want every dollar that I... What is that? Every time? Look at next time you're balling up and getting on for your money. Watch.
My money on the ground that I didn't work. Then it means that they didn't have no opposition leader. And it means that all them things that I sign good. And
2016 again. Ladies and gentlemen, I am reading from this 24 scandal in 24 months front page, but just showing you where scandal. In June 2016, Naveen Haripasad died awaiting approval from Forest office for children. A 1-year-old child. That child, ladies and gentlemen, that child died waiting for approval. But all he can do is wear fancy suit. Sharp boy in a big boy thing, you know, they wear and red shoes and the little cuff and thing, and you know, you can't go around them. But COUVA fly high must come down to drink water. COUVA fly high must come down to drink water. All the fancy suit all in. You all will face the true and living God one day now. Look what's going on in this world. Look at the flood. Look at imagine, will you ever see locusts like that in Rio Claro? You had the video of that? Locusts in Rio Claro. I know if they Batty Mamsel, you know what is that? Flood, the worst of the storm. Look at Bermuda, look what's going on. And all they're doing people that? All they're doing people is injustice? Eh? In November 2016, Imber said he will continue to raise gas. No one has rioted, and he announces zero wages and freeze policy. Imber said, I'm raising gas, I don't care raising it. Boy, that might be the only thing in your life raising right now. That's the only thing. That is the only thing. You bought out raising this. Since when an engineer could be a minister of finance? Tell me, since when? Since where? Where? In any government? I know we had Larry Hawaii. No, compare government to government, 2 years. We were never like this, ladies and gentlemen. People had jobs, people working, people making money. But it was never like this. Of course, maybe there had some hiccups. But it was never like this. It was never like this. In January, now we look at 2017, Shamfa Kojo racks up a telephone bill to $59,000. And let me tell you something, she must be talk to whoever she wants. She talked to what? She talked to who? Put up a picture of Shamfa Kojo. That's Shamfa Kojo? Oh, no, that's a picture. No, that's not Shamfa Kojo. Put up the serial, the next picture, right? Thank you. 59,000. Put up the picture, 59,000. $59,000, ladies and gentlemen. But you know what? I will tell you something. That is why they're green. They're green. Let me tell you something. Why you think he wouldn't bring back Jerry Narris, Joe Newell Williams? Why you think he wouldn't really bring back the movers and the shakers at PNM? Why you think that? Because he can't take opposition. He can't take people asking him nothing. But let me tell you something. Imagine Shamfa Kojo and them have set up nobody. Me know where them come from. Them come from behind the class. And reach up in front. And imagine busting up she mouth in parliament. Take that in your face. Watch it.
The leader said, as the leader of the bench said today, said on the first day, we are in charge of this house, and you are going to deal with it. You are going to learn to deal with it, because we are going to be in this place for the next 5 years at least, and in your face for the next 5 years at least, like a zombie from Lekato. Lekato.
Tell us something. We come in with righteousness. The prayer of a righteous man availeth much than for Kojo. And right now the nation is praying. Is praying. Because the wickedness of this government has gone to the nostrils of God. Ladies and gentlemen, just imagine that 59,000, and this woman could stand up and say, because Likato Jumbi, take it in all your face. When all you don't have no money in all your pocket, when the bank, when all you lose all your job, all you have nothing, we can't walk the road. Take it in your face. Take it in your face. Let's take a break.
You hear Bacchanal? That is Bacchanal. And there's more to come. Scandal after scandal after scandal. That is why we are saying they are unfit for office, and we want to bring the United National Congress back into the corridors of governance. At this time, I would bring to you our women's armchair to bring greetings to this National Congress.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. Madam Political Leader, members of NATEX Parliament, members of local government, delegates, activists and observers, welcome all. The party in power has already lost the next general election. It is up to us to win it by drawing on the potential that is inherent in the people of Trinidad and Tobago. The goal of the Women's Arm is to plan and to implement plans that will change the direction that the country is going from backward to forward. I want to report on the 3 projects that the executive undertook in order to do this. The first was project management training, where we developed ideas into plans for small business for women and women's enterprises. The second was 2 projects that we chose, which we developed a model from scratch and began producing, and then we manufactured goods to add value to those products. Third, we have a support program, a social work program built on those projects. And we're working on the problem of crime and violence, which is the single largest problem in the country. As women, we know there is nothing worse than hungry children. Hungry during the day and going to bed hungry. We have to put food on the table. So I would like to encourage you to look at the Women's Agri-Project table there at the back, where you will see what we have been able to produce, some examples. We are now able to provide practical training, planting material of 1 million plants, contract farming of 5 acres and up, guaranteed buyback prices, processing and export of goods. There is an agri workshop at the end of the month, the last Friday of the month at 2, and you can sign the register there if you wish to be invited to that. Another one of the potential inherent values of the country is Saijan. Humble Saijan is now a global superfood, and you can look also there at the products that we have, the tea, the powder, the leaves, capsules and a snack for school kids. Very high protein and high energy, good brain food. On top of these, we built a social work program, and you will see our social worker, Lisa Ramlogan, there. And she's able to provide social work, counseling, trauma counseling, help, self-help, networking with contractors to rebuild homes, and help for single mothers, ideas for income. She has also guided a number of people in their application for the Children's Fund. In our plan to look at a comprehensive program against crime, we will be looking particularly at the terrible violence against women. We're all aware of what happened to Dr. Claire Broadbridge in her own home, and what happened to the former THA Assemblywoman While it is reported she was praying for her friend in St. Martin, she turned around and found a gun in her face last week. What worries us most is safety when we're moving around with our children, when we're at home in our own homes. And a drastic approach is needed to that. And that's what we will undertake next. So these are the projects that I wish to report on that we have carried out since the last Congress. I hope that you find those useful. These are our contributions to policy making in the United National Congress. I thank my executive, the elected members, and the seconded committee members, the women's affairs officers in the country, and I look forward to continued delivery of those projects for the short time that we have left in this NATEX. Thank you so much, and we look forward to going back into government under the leadership of Kamala Prasad-Bissessar.
Thank you very much, Dr. Catherine Ali, our Women's Armchair. And please feel free, if you need further information, to check out the booth at the right when the program is finished, when you have some time on your hands. At this point in time, I would like to invite to the stage my brother, Alderman Brian Mohan, for a piece of... Okay, well, we'll hold off on the entertainment for some more bacchanal. So please turn your attention to the screen nearest to you at this moment, brothers and sisters, for a third video presentation.
Watch me as I tell you, you know there's a saying, police in this section, they're looking to arrest me. Let me tell you something, I changed it, you know. It's Rowley in this section, he looking to arrest me. Come and lock me up, I'm misbehaving. I misbehaving in your business. Are you afraid? Are you ready for the lockup? Ladies and gentlemen, in February 2017, Rowley callously tells battered woman, I am not in your bedroom at a political meeting in Maloney. While all them women out there getting licks, getting this, getting that. Imagine women throat being slit. You lost your daughter, all those mothers who are watching right now, you lost your daughter to some violent son-in-law. Maybe he's locked up now, or maybe he committed suicide, kill your daughter. The Prime Minister of a country could say, I am not in your bedroom, choose your men wisely. That is the advice, you remember? We have it.
1/3 of the murders in recent times are domestic violence or domestic issues. And then that, you call on the Prime Minister to do something about crime. I'm not in your bedroom, I'm not in your choice of men.
For that, you clap for that. You clap for that. You should have put, yeah, now you want to be crazy. I am not in your bedroom. That is your response. You think Prime Ministers of the region, you think Donald Trump would have said something like that? They would have been liaising with the attorney generals, with cabinet, and seen how they could put more stringent measures, amend the laws with respect to domestic violence. I'm not in your bedroom. Choose your man and them wisely. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. 2017 February, Faris Al-Rari ignored the need of 3/5 majority on certain legislation because he says he's just tired of the opposition. You have a video of that? Just imagine that. Look at the picture. Faris Al-Rari ignores the need of the 3/5 majority on certain legislation because he says he's just tired of the opposition. That's what he said. He no business. So they want to run this. They want to muzzle the opposition. Lock up everybody. Lock up everybody. Yeah. I think they want to... somebody was telling me they might even go as far as Kapil Dev that died. A very distinguished politician. Yeah, they're going after everybody, you know. If Rowley could dig up the cemetery and put a handcuff on him, dead people do it right now. Just to distract the nation of what's going on. Darrell Smith wines and dine 3 male. Listen to me. Darrell Smith wine and dine 3 male staff in Tobago at the cost of government, 9 female staff. Watch. Bava picture. Wow, let me see the picture. How you boy, you squeezing so you put out a right power. That is a boca. I was the first to show that nothing can come out of that, you know. Nothing but Rowley. Oh, come here. If you're so I want to investigate and deal the young and inexperienced. Look at that picture there. The man spent 93,000. Who money is that? Who money is that? That your money? Wow. BP refuses to build platform. Rowley usurps role of NGC and negotiates gas supply price. Yeah? Just imagine that. BP refuses to build the engine platform in Trinidad and Tobago. Just imagine that. In April 2017, Stuart Young directs PTSC to pay contractors who don't have service contracts in breach of legal authority. Just imagine that, all that in breach of his legal authority. Just imagine that Stuart Young directs PTSC to pay contractors who don't have service contract in breach of his legal authority. Just imagine that. That kind of bacchanal going on. Just not again with all PTSC. What Rowley tell reporters in June 2017, Rowley tell reporters they sound like his wife when they ask why he goes missing for 3 days during tropical storm. Just imagine that. He asked them, he said, well, let's song, so we can't ask you nothing. Only I can ask you. You went Labor Day jam in New York by chance? No, baby. No, baby. I ain't going to tell you nothing now. You're going to feel sick, but I'm going to leave that with you. Something now could shoot up in my head. Imagine a prime minister, when the media asks, the media who are the pillars of democracy, who make sure and protect the voices of the citizens, and they are there, you will tell them, oh, let's song like my wife all asking me. It's like, you know? July 27, 2 days after being appointed, Marley McDonald fired again as she attends a ceremony with Burkey. She lost, she work again. Watch it. Watch Burkey and all of them. Watch. Normal thing. Normal thing. 2017, Clarence Rambarat and his wife used police shooting range. That is the same man who want to protect IBIS, but ignoring the law in the barracks. Look, we had the pictures. I had the pictures first. Watch Clarence and his wife. Watch. I wonder if this is the one that have Canadian citizenship. Does Clarence have dual citizenship or Canadian citizenship? He has Canadian citizenship. I just want to find out. I don't know if you give it up. I just find it out. I don't know. I'm not too sure. August 2017, contracts for costly lease of inter-island vessel Ocean Flower to scrap after a series of scandal about the boat. I buzzed the mark with Marnie and all of them. I buzzed the mark with that. Bacchanal in that ferry. And you are telling me nothing? That is why I would have never held these papers again, but I have to give credit where credit is due. Guardian, all you come good today. You come good. The Sabgas, all you come real good. I know the others might want to eat all you up here, because I know, and you know, anything on a front page of Guardian had to come from upstairs. Just remember, I tell you that. And for this to hit our front page, something wrong. Somebody is not satisfied with what's going on in this country. I tell you that. For this Express hunting is nothing. Express running what going on in Bermuda, Rowley slips, Irma Rex Bermuda, and St. Martin, the beast. But for come with this Guardian, and we all know who owned Guardian, but to before Bridgman has the boat, before cabinet approval. Bridgman had no boat, nothing, but contract done signed. All cabinet did was a rubber stamp. Oops. But you want to come and lock up people? Today, ladies and gentlemen, I have made you aware of what is going on in this country. And it's not 24. I would have put 1,000 scandal. Every day might be 100 scandal with them. Every day in some ministry racket running. Every day, ladies and gentlemen. What is that? And ladies and gentlemen, 2 years ago on this, a day like today, 2 years ago, but let me tell you something. The citizens of this country ended up like the dog and the bone. They had a good bone in their mouth. Maybe the meat, they don't leave the bone already, but it was a bone, a sure bone. That's why they say a bird in the hand here is worth 2 in the wild. We take chain up. Everybody take chain up. They say Tobago coming like Dubai. Well, boy, right now Tobago like beat 'em. Nothing. The citizens, the Tobagonians on an island right now like Gilligan, stranded. No grocery, nothing. But I love what Shamfako just say. You being a Tobagonian, I love what you say. Take it in your face, Dan. Take it in your face. I love what you said. Take it in your face. Hold on. When all you lose all your job, all you have nothing in Trinidad, take it in your face. And that didn't come on the streets. That came from the highest platform, the parliament. The highest platform, the parliament. Watch it. Take it in your face.
Said, as the leader of the bench said today, said on the first day, we are in charge of this house and you are going to deal with it. You are going to learn to deal with it because we are going to be in this place for the next 5 years at least and in your face for the next 5 years at least like a zombie from Lekato. 5 years at least.
All you hear that bacchanal? That is bacchanal. Scandal after scandal after scandal. But I want to correct her. You're not in charge. You're warming up the government bench for the United National Congress in the next election, and it better be sooner rather than later. At this point in time, I welcome my brother, Alderman Brian Mohan, to greet us in song. Brian?
I vote last time, and I vote the time before. But come this time, I know who I'm voting for. Cause we country in a mess, the people in distress. Rowley PNM is a failure. Rowley PNM is a disaster, cause we country in a mess, the people in distress. The UNC is we savior, and that is why we supporting Kamla.
If you're supporting Kamla, put your hands in the air. Everybody,
bring back Kamla.
Put your flags in the air.
Bring back Kamla. What the people want, bring back Kamla. What the people say, bring back Kamla.
If you're supporting Kamla,
bring back Kamla.
What
the people say, bring back Kamla. What the people want, bring back Kamla. I vote last time and I vote the time before, but come this time I know who I'm voting for. Cause we country in a mess, the people in distress. Rowley PNM is a failure. Rowley PNM is a disaster. Cause we country in a mess, the people in distress. The UNC is the savior, and that is why we supporting Kamla.
If you're supporting Kamla, put your flags in the air.
Bring back Kamla. What the people want, bring back Kamla. What the people say, bring back Kamla. What the people want, bring back Kamla. Costs are living so high, food prices running sky high, and keep Rowley flying high and dry. He only fixing stadium, but the people having problem. Rowley PNM say hell with all of them. Whole day and night he only playing golf. Oh, and that's the reason why he make poor people cry. Rowley PNM is a failure. Rowley PNM is a disaster. Cause we country in a mess, the people in distress. The UNC is the savior, and that is why we supporting Kamla.
If you're supporting Kamla, put your flags in the air.
What the people want, bring back Kamla. What the people say, bring back Kamla. What the people want, bring back Kamla.
There is only murder each and every hour. Tell me why the people are suffer. The hospital ain't working, the P&M they're joking. Up to now they ain't do a thing.
All day and night he only playing golf. Oh, and that's the reason why he make poor people cry. Rowley PNM is a failure. Rowley PNM is a disaster. Cause we country in a mess. The people in distress. The UNC is we savior. And that is why we supporting Kamla.
If you're supporting Kamla, put your hands in the air.
Bring back Kamla.
What the people want,
Bring back Kamla.
what the people say,
Bring back Kamla.
what the people want,
Bring back Kamla.
Wait, pull up, DJ, pull up. Before I go, I must give all of the message, right? All over TNT is crime everywhere. People dying every day, and Kid Rowley don't even care. Our children are suffering. How much more will have to die? It look like Kid Rowley love to bring tears to poor people's eyes. All over TNT, people crying out in pain. They say under PNM, Israel stress and suffering. But Kamla say don't worry, she will take away your pain. Because very soon, you know, she will be Prime Minister again.
Yo.
Oh, let's sing with me. Sing with me, right? Because our Kamala love should never forget. Having she as our leader, we will never regret. If you love Kamla, let me see, put your two hands in the air.
You ain't see all the way.
Hold on, brother. Hold on. Hold on, brother. Hold on. The tune nice like lentil peas and Spanish rice with a glass of Moby and 6 block ice. Let me do it twice. Come back to the stage, brother.
I vote last time, and I vote the time before. Let's listen to the lyrics, right?
UNC.
I know who I'm voting for, 'cause we country in a mess. The people in distress. Rowley PNM is a failure. Rowley PNM is a disaster. 'Cause we country
Hands in the air, hands in the air, flags in the air. Everybody.
UNC is we savior. And that is why we supporting Kamla. If you're supporting the UNC, put your two flags in the air. Hey, what the people say?
Bring back Kamla.
What the people want?
Bring back Kamla.
What the people say?
Bring back Kamla.
What the people want?
Bring back Kamla.
What the people say?
Bring back Kamla.
What the people want?
Bring back Kamla.
I vote last time and I vote the time before. But come this time, I know who I'm voting for. 'Cause we country in a mess. The people in distress. Rowley PNM
is a failure.
Rowley PNM is a disaster. 'Cause we country in a mess. The people in distress. The UNC is the savior. And that is why we supporting Kamla. Who is supporting? What the people say?
Bring back Kamla.
What the people want?
Bring back Kamla.
What the people say?
Bring back Kamla.
What the people want?
Bring back Kamla.
Costs are living so high, food prices running sky high, and keep Rowley flying high and dry. He only fixing stadium, but the people having problem. Rowley PNM say hell with all of them. All day and night he only playing golf. Oh, and that's the reason why he make poor people cry. Rowley PNM is a failure. Rowley PNM is a disaster. 'Cause we country in a mess. The people in distress. The UNC is we savior. And that is why we supporting Kamla. Hey! What the people say?
Bring back Kamla.
What the people want?
Bring back Kamla.
What the people say?
Bring back Kamla.
What the people want?
Bring back Kamla. There's only murder each and every hour. Tell me why the people are so far. The hospital ain't working, the PNM they're joking. Up to now they ain't do a thing.
All day and night he only playing why he make poor people cry. Lonely PNM is a failure. Lonely PNM is a disaster. Cause we country in a mess, the people in distress. The UNC is the savior, and that is why we support Kamala. What the people say? Bring back Kamala. What the people want? Let me see the flag. Hands in the air. Hands in the air. Hands in the air. Hands in the air.
If you love Kamala, let me see you put your flags in the air.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
I was tempted to sing a verse, but I ain't warm up yet. I ain't warm up, so next time, right? At this point in time, we'll bring to you another piece of entertainment. We have a dance from these beautiful youngsters. Give a round of applause to these youngsters, UNC family.
A nation of many varied races,
Thank you very much, youngsters. I'm a drummer myself, so I especially appreciated that the young people are the future. Apparently, this regime doesn't know that. But we know, we definitely have a leader who understands that. A lady who goes by the mantra, serve the people, serve the people, serve the people. She served the people for 5 years in government. She is serving the people in opposition right now, and she's preparing to serve us once again as Prime Minister of the Trinidad and Tobago. We welcome our political leader, ladies and gentlemen, our Honorable Mrs. Kamla Persad-Bissessar.
This nation because of the love she has for the population, and she is a true Trinidadian. This lady, some call her a queen, and if you know her, you would see what I mean, because she fit the role with her winning smile and her heart of pure gold. Over 25 years, she toiled to make sure we were all right, and made sure we were safe and could sleep sound in the night. All she had was love for the people of this country, sweet TNT. Love for you and me, and all she ever wanted was for us to be all that we could be, because she inspired us to dream big.
Thank you very much. Thank
No,
you all.
it's not fact.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you very much. Can we please, once again, thank those young children. We have seen the culture, we've seen the talent of the young people of Trinidad and Tobago. So we thank them very much for coming and joining with us in this National Congress today. Before I go into the issues I want to raise with you, give me one moment to acknowledge our members of parliament and senators. Will you please stand so I can count you? MP Fazal Karim, MP Rudal Mulilao, MP Lakram Bodo, MP Indar Singh, Senator Mark, MP Gopi Singh, MP Mr. Gopi Singh, Senator Sturge at the back, MP Suraj, MP Rushton, MP Rodney Charles, MP Christine, MP Ramona, who will be soon getting a UNC baby, thank you, MP Botiwari, MP Fuad Khan. And on stage, MP, chairman of our party, David Lee. Where is he? MP Ganga Singh, welcome. I know he's having a little health challenge, but thank you for being here. And of course, Senator I.A.N, one of our deputy leaders. Let me also acknowledge some former ministers who are with us in the audience. I think I see Glenn is here, Devon Maraj, former ambassador to Washington, Neil Parson, Dr. Neil Parson, and many others who are here. Members of the NATEX on stage here, councillors, aldermen, our mayor, and the chairman of the various corporations, and activists and delegates from each constituency. I am very happy to be with you, to join with you at this duly constituted National Congress of the UNC, duly constituted according to the constitution of our party, and I think Denisha acknowledged the various sections, section 11, that we have our delegates, and in addition, as we've always done, observers. So welcome to all of you, and thank you again. And you know, it is really uplifting when we see the talent once again of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. So let us congratulate TKR, Trinbago Night Riders, led by Captain Dwayne Bravo on their win last night, just after midnight. And whilst we are here rejoicing, we have many brothers and sisters, members of our family and supporters in Florida. And so today, I want you to join with me in sending our prayers for their safety as they've been battered by Hurricane Irma. But they've been sending us their prayers as well, because they're saying that Trinidad and Tobago is being battered by Hurricane Rowley. So now, I think this is another step, very significant as we continue our preparations for return to good governance in our beloved nation. We work together for return of the only team and the only political party with the capability of rescuing our country from the disaster Rowley-led government. It is very hard to imagine that we have suffered 2 years of this bungling administration. Total incompetence. You know, in one of the polls, I think the installment came out today, and the newspaper said, worst ever. And the question they asked, are you better off today than you were 2 years ago? Are you better off after 2 years of the Rowley regime? And the polling is saying exactly what you're saying. It's the worst ever. Worst government ever. The most incompetent government ever. Under Rowley's stewardship, we have seen a remarkable and drastic turn for the worst in all areas. Our economy is on free fall. Criminals are on the rampage. Our health institutions are lacking basic medication and equipment. Thousands are now jobless. And the government has not come to us, to the citizens, with any strategy or idea to fix the disaster. Other members here today would have shared with you their reports from the National Executive of the party, describing some of the activities, including our ongoing fundraising efforts. And I want to thank and congratulate the National Executive of the UNC sitting with us. Can you join me, please, in thanking them for their work for the past 2 years, about 2 years. And I also want to thank the committee we have formed known as Bunch. And the Bunch is Building UNC's Home, Bunch, for their 2 successful fundraising activities as we continue to try to raise money to build the UNC's home. So the Bunch members, please stand wherever you are, and let's give them a round of applause. And so we are working, we are getting ready to return Trinidad and Tobago to growth, to good governance and prosperity. I am excited and energized by what I've seen from the party membership in the last year. Our General Secretary has advised that our membership has increased significantly from the previous year. And we have seen our membership, our supporters, our activists, really calling government to account. Through letters, through protests, they are making sure that our representatives in Parliament remain well aware and well informed as to the failings of this government. So again, we thank all of you being out there, soldiers in the field, battling, struggling, making your voices heard on the media, outside the media, on the streets, and wherever you can be. Thank you. I have been repeatedly calling for persons who wish to serve with us, to work with us, to help further build our very great party, to send in their resumes, send in their send emails and so on. I'll give back my email address again, kamlapb1@gmail.com. And since I started doing that, we have been swamped with the number of persons sending in, saying, look, I want to help. And I would say to them, all those of you, in addition to all of us here, who have indicated this willingness to work with the party, to build the party further, that I'll be convening a meeting very shortly with all of you who have been sending in your resumes and your willingness to help. So don't think we've forgotten you. We will convene a meeting very shortly with respect to that. And I think, and seeing you here today and seeing the attendance here and in other events, I would say to you today and ask you to agree with me that our party is united and strong. Our party is united and strong. And we are seeing more and more people coming forward who want to build our nation. I say to all of them, welcome. In my father's house and in my mother's house, there are many mansions. And so, welcome to all of you. Together, we can develop solutions to the problems facing our country. Together, a moment of complete crisis. Look, I wish him well. One newspaper report said he was going for a vacation. Another report says he's going for a medical checkup. I wish him well, because I want him to come back in good health, because he has a lot of questions to answer, and he has a lot to do. But I have to note that the timing of this vacation, medical checkup, or whatever it is very odd of our election to office. Yes? Publications of our achievements. All this would have been done in every year that we were in office. So he's not here for the second year anniversary of his own party, but also the second year anniversary of a government in office. And it is further odd that he chose to miss the first sitting of the Parliament. By selecting this first week in September, he absented himself from very important issues of a nation in crisis. So he left this year for 10 days in September. I don't even know if he's back. Anybody knows? I don't even know. He left September 1. This way he was certain to miss the second anniversary of his party, September 7th, which was not a red, it was a red letter day, but it was also a black letter day for Trinidad and Tobago and for our citizens. And he was certain to miss the first sitting of our Parliament. Also, he was certain to miss the testimony that took place in the Joint Select Committee with respect to the ferry tails. You remember that? The Tobago ferries. Today, let us congratulate our MPs, Rushton Barre and Senator Mark, for the tremendous job they are doing in the Joint Select Committee about these boats. Very startling revelations, and of course, more on that ferry issue is to come. So let's take some of the issues I have at hand. One of the polls, or one of the editorials said about a horrifying, the polls reflect a horrifying position in Trinidad and Tobago. The polls were a reflection of a horrifying time in Trinidad and Tobago. One of the newspaper editorials. Let me start with today to share with you some really horrifying facts with respect to what is taking place now at the state-owned company Petrotrin. And you'll have to bear with me because this is so mind-boggling. It is frightening, coming on top of the corruption with the ferry tails, with the ferries, with boats. This is even worse because the fingers on the corruption point straight on the doorstep of high officials of the government, which I'll name to you in a minute. So every time the PNM regime is in office, there are three main issues you could look for. Always. It's like a recurring nightmare. And they are runaway crime, which I'll talk about in a bit, runaway corruption, discrimination, and waste and mismanagement of the economy. And so as surely as night follows day, every time the PNM is in office, our country faces social, economic, and political chaos because of these crime, corruption, discrimination, waste, and mismanagement of the economy. This Rowley regime is no different under them. What is different this time, however, is perhaps the blatant and unapologetic contempt they're showing for the population while they feed the citizens lies about the so-called lack of money. Let me tell you something about lack of money. This government in 2 years would have spent $110 billion with nothing to show for it. 2 wasted years in office. Nothing to show. And they cry crocodile tears, no money, when they cut the gate, when they don't want to open the children's hospital, when they will not give your children the laptops, will not give them books, will not repair the schools, all the things that they will not do. But they would have spent $110 billion. The question is, what are they spending it on? That is the question. They're spending it so-called on the seas. They're spending buying paintings. They're spending buying new Mercedes-Benz. They're spending buying romping and roaming. Don't forget the romper and the Roma. The Roman phone bill, the Jumbie from Likoto. And the other guy, Darrell Smith. I think somebody's saying Barrel Smith, but Darrell Smith, he was the romper. And the Jumbie was the Roma. You see where the money is going? Massey, buying out of Massey Communications. What was it? $255 million. So it's where are they choosing to spend the money? Last year, in my budget response, I pointed out to you that the Rowley regime has one aim. And in this one term, that is, while they serve in government, that is to ensure that their 1% friends and financiers benefit from every single dollar in the treasury, while the rest of the country, the 99%, suffer poverty, unemployment, and crime. Today again, I have in my possession more damning information about that calculated plan by the Rowley regime to decimate our treasury. You know what decimate means? thief out the treasury. Take out the money, draw down on the treasury to benefit their supra-elite friends and financiers, whilst at the same time suffering the rest of our population. You have heard them go on and on and on. Every time they speak, ad nauseum, they talk about how they met an empty treasury. You remember that? Yet every single action I told you about, buying paintings, was to facilitate some family members' business, wasting money on the ferry deals, giving billion-dollar contracts to their friends and family and financiers, spending hundreds of thousands of taxpayers' dollars on the phone bills and so on. Some of them taking honeymoon trips to Bahamas and Tobago in luxury hotels. They tell you they need to cut jobs. They want to raise taxes and have been raising. They're slashing all the social safety net programs. They want to raise utility rates. And the Prime Minister is on record telling you, don't expect the government to pay for roads and hospitals and schools. You must wean yourself off the government. That's what he told us. Food prices are so high now. Even middle-class families are finding it very hard to balance their budgets. And guess what? You would have seen the front page of the newspaper today. We stopped them in their tracks with respect to the Property Tax Act because the matter is in court. But this incompetent, wicked and lazy government have now put forward a proposal to bring a new property tax bill, calling it by another name, but it's the same thing. They're calling it a land tax bill. Check your newspaper today, and later in the week, I'll give you part 2 of my installment on that particular issue. Not today, another day. So, all of this, and yet now they are sitting at the top of the pile. They're lying about the state of the economy, whilst they are silently siphoning out hundreds of millions of dollars to their friends, their families, and to whom? Their financiers. You know, they always say about UNC financier. You ever hear about a PNM financier? Today I will tell you about a PNM financier. I will share with you about a PNM financier. From Johnny O'Halloran to John Calder Hart, the PNM are the masters of corruption, scandal, and thievery. They will sacrifice our country to fill the pockets of their friends and their financiers. I warned you before the election in 2015 that if you elect the Rowley PNM, the people of our country will suffer and only the super elites and friends and financiers will prosper. I used to tell you about Big People Party. You remember that? Long before this 1% and so on, in 2015 we were telling you that is the Big People Party. And so said, it has come to light and we have seen it. The past 24 months has proven just that. Upon assuming office in 2015, they announced they would bring whistleblower legislation. Big fanfare in Parliament, big statements about whistleblower legislation to uncover corruption between 2010 and 2015. That those who have information on wrongdoing will have protection. Look, the other day when people from the port, information came out about their boats, what they do? They suspended people, they call in people, and they want to bully people because they want to find out who leaked, who was a whistleblower with that matter. Total hypocritical actions which do not suit the words that they carry. You cannot hear them today because the whistle has blown on them. The whistle has blown with the Tobago scandal and the other scandals that you will hear. In every project they put their hands, there is an allegation of wrongdoing. When last you hear them talk about campaign finance reform? Remember the big noise on song and dance? Campaign finance reform, so financiers will not handcuff the government to do their bidding. Today I will tell you why they have become so quiet on campaign finance reform. Today I will show you that while the Prime Minister tells you to tighten your belt, his friends and financiers continue to live lavishly and they're filling their pockets on the watchful eye of this government. Just over a week ago, before the Prime Minister left on his latest trip, he announced the removal of the PNM appointed board at Petrotrin and a new board to be put in place. The first question we have to ask, Why did the previous chairman of Petrotrin resign, Andrew Jupiter? And I want you to see a pattern of behavior. Before the ferry scandal, just before revelations came out, what happened? The chairman of Port Authority resigned. And then, thereafter, the whole board of the Port Authority were constructively fired. Look at the pattern. Today we are going to reveal to you what wrongdoing at Petrotrin. And I'm asking you to remember, first, the chairman of Petrotrin resigned. Then, just before the Prime Minister went off on the golfing, on the medical something, he told us, look, I'm firing this whole board. No reason was given. Firing the whole board and placed in a new board. Now, I have been told that these people resign because of the bombshell that I'm holding in my hand here, which I will share with you in a few minutes, which is an internal audit report from Petrotrin. And this is mind-boggling, as I said. It is a scandal and fraud of the highest order. This internal audit report from Petrotrin. As they investigate the volume, the discrepancies with respect to the volume of crude oil produced and crude oil that the refinery actually received. And so, new board. Was the old board being pressured to cover up the wrongdoing at Petrotrin? The Prime Minister stated the decision was necessary to put a new board to convert Petrotrin into a profitable and sustainable organization. Today I want to tell the Prime Minister and the acting Prime Minister something that would greatly help them if they want to turn over Petrotrin into a profit-making organization. Instead of removing that board, he should have removed his very good friend and financier of the PNM, who has been found to have defrauded Petrotrin of about 100 million TT dollars in 6 months. In 6 months. Yes, you heard me, one company, owned and operated by the Prime Minister's very close friend, and I'm told he's also a very close friend of the Minister of Energy. He's a close friend of the government, and he's the financier of the PNM. He has defrauded Petrotrin of about $100 million within the last several months. And the answer of the Prime Minister was, in the face of this corruption, what did he do? Remove the Petrotrin board. Is the new board now coming to do his bidding to cover this up? We shall wait and see. And he should also have fired from Petrotrin, or caused to be removed from Petrotrin, a general election candidate, PNM, in 2 elections. The fellow fought me, Mr. Paria. PNM general election candidate, Vidya Gopis. Not Vidya. They're kissing. He fought me in Sapara. Of course, you know, he got the licking of his life, not once but twice, but that was the man. And he should have caused that man to be fired from Petrotrin. Why is that fellow still there? I want to tell Dr. Rowley today that removing the board of Petrotrin, maybe they were not willing to do his bidding to cover up and to protect his good friend, A&V Oil and Gas Limited. Everybody here, I think, knows of this PNM financier. Everybody knows that the Prime Minister, when he goes to the South, what does he do? He goes to that house. He goes there for people wedding, the children wedding. He goes there, went for Mastana Bahar. You remember that some time ago? I think Devon complained he didn't get an invitation, but Dr. Rowley got an invitation to Mastana Bahar and so on. Today I tell you what happened, what has happened at Petrotrin within the last 12 months is worse than O'Halloran, is worse than Prevat. It is a tale of deceit, of corruption, scandal, favoritism, and all the watchwords of the PNM. It is more bold-faced and brazen because those involved know they have the protection of high officials in the PNM. While you tell the population the government must cut back gate, you can't complete schools, they can't do health care centers, open hospital, buy drugs, they can't do none of these. You tell the workers 000. your friends and financiers are allowed to walk away with about $100 million of taxpayers' money. How did this come about? In July this year, Petrotrin discovered that there was a significant difference between the quantity of oil it was purchasing from A&V drilling and what was actually being received at the refinery. So here it is, A&V drilling, like other lease operators, you give them a field, a block of land, they pump the oil out of the ground, yeah? Then they pump it to, in this case, the Barrackport tank farm, and from there it then goes to the refinery. But what this man was recording as the amount of oil that he was sending to Petrotrin was short by 400,000 barrels of oil. 400,000 barrels of oil. The Internal Audit Department of Petrotrin was asked to investigate the shortfall. Petrotrin's concern arose because the figures recorded as received at the refinery were not matching the figures being recorded as being received from the storage tanks of this particular operator or lease operator. To put it simply, what was being sold to Petrotrin was not matching with what was being received. They discovered that this had been happening since about October last year, on or about. And they said even more, but put some numbers like from about October. Now you may remember, that is around the same time that very distinguished lady, Minister Nicole Oliveri, was fired. Around the same time. And a new Minister of Energy was appointed in the person of the present minister. Petrotrin found out from then, that the difference in the figures came from a particular field. It's called Cat's Hill. And that particular field is the lease operator, as I said, A&V Drilling. The Cat's Hill field has been under the control of A&V Drilling since 2009. A&V Oil and Gas Limited is the operator of that field under something called an IPSC contract, Incremental Production Service Contract. So who is A&V Oil and Gas? The owner of A&V Oil and Gas Drilling is, I think you all know, Hanif Nazim Baksh, also known as just Nazim Baksh. He's a very close friend and acquaintance of the Prime Minister. So close, you will see he's the only man running an advertisement from since election to now, every night praising Mr. Rowley. And his name is mentioned in the ad, praising Rowley. His daughter, I think it is his daughter, shall I ask him? Is your daughter a government senator in the Senate? Do we have the picture? You can put it up, someone. Alison Baksh. Is she the daughter of this PNM financier? He is a major financier of the PNM. He's a frequent visitor at the home of Mr. Baksh. And let me read you now the results of the audit. This is what was found. I want you to listen as I read for you what was taking place at Petrotrin under Dr. Rowley and this Minister of Energy. This is what they found on investigation. 1. Based upon the number of control issues identified during our visit to the Cat's Hill field and our analysis of the sales tickets and GPS records, internal audit has concluded that the custody transfer process at the Cat's Hill field has been compromised. This has resulted in the fraudulent overstatement of production and leakage from the company. In the opinion of the audit team, this purchase of non-existent crude, this purchase of fake crude oil from Cat's Hill is the main factor to Petrotrin receiving less oil than the volumes being recorded by the production department. Listen to this. Petrotrin has been paying the operator for oil it has not produced. They've been paid for what? Fake oil. Fake oil. The Prime Minister's best friend is getting paid for oil his company has not produced. But the Prime Minister is crying crocodile tears about the troubles at Petrotrin and about making Petrotrin more profitable, firing workers, restructuring and so on. When one thing he could do immediately is to terminate the contract of A&V oil and gas drilling. Terminate the contract. Save that money. Based upon past production data, the audit team found that an optimistic estimate of the production from the Cats Hill field is between 1,400 and 1,600 barrels per day. So on average, being optimistic, that's what it is. But sales, as per sales tickets, average what? 5,000 barrels per day. So this man was overstating this production by such a vast amount. 5,000 barrels a day in the month of June alone. And we estimate that production for this month would have been overstated for this month alone by 90,000 barrels, which at a conservative $33 US a barrel payment, the operator works out to overpayment of US $2.97 million for the month of June alone. Remember, this is going on for months. It is estimated for the period January to June, 6 months, 2017, Cats Hill overstated its production by at least about 400,000 barrels, and therefore Petrotrin would have had to pay them over $12 million US. So let's take the Prime Minister's conversion rate. I heard him say it in Parliament. 7 TT to 1 US. 12 million, US by 7. $84 million. That is in excess of $80 million here. Petrotrin has paid royalties to the government of about $1.8 million for crude not received during the 6-month period, January to June 2017. So Petrotrin has been overstating its crude oil production, and Petrotrin has been sending inaccurate information to the Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries. So today let me challenge the Prime Minister to tell us that he didn't know what was going on at Petrotrin. Do you believe that the Prime Minister did not know? Do you believe the Minister of Energy did not know what was happening at Petrotrin? And I want to ask Mr. Jupiter today if this was the reason why he resigned as the chairman of Petrotrin, because he refused to cover up the corruption that was going on there. I want to ask if this is the reason the Petrotrin board was fired. I want to ask the president of Petrotrin, Mr. Harewood, why has he not taken any action against A&V oil drilling based upon the internal audit report, where we see almost $80 to $90 million by this company, lease operator, defrauded the taxpayers and the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Is it that A&V Gas and Oil is untouchable because of their contribution they made to the PNM for the election campaign? Is this payback for the PNM being financed in 2015 by A&V Gas? You see, the Attorney General often says that he will follow the money. I want to tell him today to go and follow the almost $100 million which belongs to the people of our country, which is sitting in the bank account of a PNM financier and a close friend of the Prime Minister and of the Minister of Energy. What is shocking about this whole deal is the manner in which this was carried out. It was as though those involved had no care whether they were committing a criminal act, because they had the protection they felt from high officers. When Petrotrin investigated this matter, the staff of the internal audit visited the fields to examine how the crude oil was being transferred from the field to Pointe-à-Pitre and where the fraud was taking place and who were those responsible. What they found was shocking, but typical of the PNM. The evidence suggested that there had been fraudulent activity in the Cats Hill field operator A&V in collusion with a Petrotrin employee, and they had been overstating this production at Cats Hill for at least 6 months. They They just did the 6 months, but they said it could have been more than that. It was discovered that Catskill production increased from January 2017 to June 2017, significant increases, which coincided, that is to say, which happened at the same time when the PNM general election candidate Vidya Gopi Singh was working as a crude procurement specialist responsible for fiscalization of that crude oil from the Catskill field. Do we have a photo of him? We can put it up. PNM, there he is. That's the guy. Check Sapara. Sapara told him no. Devki Singh. What am I saying? Is it Vidya? Let me stop saying Vidya. Devki Singh. This Devki Singh man on the screens. Let's do this together. Well, he did it together with A&V Drilling to fraudulently siphon taxpayers' money. And of course, Sapara told him, no way, Jose. No way, Jose. We don't want you in Sapara. So it was discovered then, they found many discrepancies in the sales tickets signed off by Mr. Devki Singh. And I remind you of the gentleman, we just showed you the flyer, his campaign flyer. So he is no stranger to the PNM. In fact, he is very close to the hierarchy of the PNM. You have a situation where the PNM candidate for Sapara in 2 general elections is a person who is at the center of this entire affair of the fraudulent recording of the production from the Catskill field, resulting in the financier walking away with about 100 million. Now, before I go to demonstrate the extent of the incompetence of those who are in charge of our country and the extent they would go to fool the people of this country, I want to ask you, do you know that our present Minister of Energy, do you know what he had to say about A&V oil and gas in the parliament of this country? On the 15th of May, 2017, let me tell you what the minister said. Minister Franklin Khan. He said, and I quote, and I want to go, this is Minister Khan, and I want to go on record and today praise one company that has done tremendously well on a program called the Incremental Petroleum Service Contracts. It is a company called A&V Drilling, based in Pinal. They took the Catskill field about 3 years ago. It was farmed out to them by Petrotrin, making a 130 barrels of oil per day. You know what? So they said they used to make 130 barrels per day. And he's saying, you know what AV drilling production in Catskill is now? This is May 2017. The minister says, you know what is A&V drilling production in Catskill now? 4,000 barrels per day. And you know why it is 4,000 barrels a day? Because they have drilled 32 wells since they took over the field. The minister was boasting about the work of this company when what he was boasting about was fake oil, fake oil, fake oil, non-existent oil. And these 32 wells, so from a field that would give you 130 barrels per day, this man moved this thing to what? 4,000 barrels a day. I mean, is that even possible? And I'll show you why it's not even possible. That is what the Minister of Energy wants you to believe. But what did the audit team find? They went in around the 11th of July. When they went down to the field, the audit team, they found there were 13 wells that were not producing. So this boasts about 32 wells, well, minus 13 from that 32. This included 6 of the reported high-producing wells that came on stream from April to June, was not producing. Apparently, it was high-producing for the owner, but most certainly not for the taxpayers. But hear this. Wells that were producing high volumes in the previous weeks, they suddenly stopped producing when the audit team went down, because now you have real checking investigation going on when the audit team went in. After this now, they moved Mr. Devki Singh from the custody transfer with respect to the Catskill field, the same day that they went in. And you know what happened? The day they moved that man, the production numbers gone right down, just dropped. Again, was fake reporting. When the auditors visited the field, the production fell from 3,228 barrels on that day, when what was being reported by Devki Singh was approximately 7,200 barrels. So from there, David Kissing got it dropped. They also found that the removal of David Kissing, and they used these words, had a debilitating and paralyzing effect on the operator's production. During the last 10 days, this is from the report, that Mr. David Kissing was on duty, the total production of A&V was 61,000 barrels of crude. 10 days, well, the last 10 days, this David Kissing stayed there. And the daily average was 3,589 barrels per day. Immediately they moved out David Kissing. For the next 19 days, production from the same wells went down to 52,000 barrels at a daily average of 1,300. So from nearly 4,000, gone down to just over 1,300. That was about like a 50% decrease. This is the robbery that was going on at Petro. It gets worse, you know. When the team examined the records for the storage tanks, they found that the records showed A&V was selling Petrogen more oil than the tanks could hold. So they have a tank farm, they have the gathering tanks, but they're selling Petrogen more oil. Not selling, but they're reporting that they're selling more oil than the tank could hold. You can believe that? I mean, can you be so brass-faced, so bold-faced? At least have some, what they call it, common sense. The tanks couldn't even hold that. The records show from tank 7 that it had a capacity to hold 4,768 barrels. But under Mr. David Kissing, it was recorded it was holding more than 8,600. Double the amount. Double the amount. You know, I asked somebody, that tank doubled in size just by Mr. David Kissing being present at the time. Doubled in size. And so I asked someone, you know, I said, listen, I see these tankers driving on the road and so on. You know, those like an oil tanker, the ones on the road. They're huge. I want you to imagine what 400,000 barrels of oil visually could be. And I asked, well, how much one of those tankers will hold? They told me about 90 barrels. Can you begin to even imagine what 400,000 barrels of oil disappeared in 6 months? And you know, the further question is, I am told that when certain people were questioned about it, they said that, well, there were a lot of leakages on the lines. You know, but I read in the papers for the last 6 months up to now, 8 months, 9 months, I have never heard of an oil spill in that area. 400,000 barrels of oil leaking out. That would have created a major environmental disaster. So you hear lie? More lies, more lies. This man, Mr. David Kissing, had a company vehicle. Listen how this thing goes. And you know, I want to compliment the auditors of this because they did it like a CID investigation. I think if some of those auditors were in the police force, we would have detected more criminals and more murderers. So David Kissing had a company vehicle, and in that vehicle they would put a GPS. And you know what that GPS does? It could tell you where you are, when you are, any time of the day or night, where that vehicle is anyway. And do you know that when the audit team examined the GPS device, they found that during the period January 2017 to July 2017, that's the date when they moved him, there were instances where Mr. David Kissing was not present for the records to be taken. So this man measuring quantity and quality of oil, but he never on spot, which is where he has to be in the field. He was not there at the storage tanks, or if he was there, the time he spent was not long enough to take the proper record. That's like the tank that doubled in size. Similarly, this man counting quantity of gas, yeah, and ghost measurements. So what happened then is he would have accepted the A&V figures of the recording without verifying the figures were in fact correct. Listen to what the audit team had to say about this, and I quote, he, Mr. David Kissing, was therefore a willing accomplice of the operator A&V to defraud Petrogen by overstating fiscalized volumes. Petrogen was therefore paying for crude oil that was never produced. Fake oil. They also found that since there were occasions where Mr. David Kissing was not present when the records were taken, it is possible that there may have been sample tampering, and Petrogen may have been paying for higher quality crude than what it was actually getting. The team found there were 9 instances when Mr. Dacquising was present at the operator's office during that period, January to July 2017. So he's not on the job site, but he's in the office of the A&V drilling. On one occasion, he was there, I think, for 5 hours, the records are showing, at the office of this operator. And the position that he held as crude procurement specialist, there was no reason, the auditors are saying, to be at the office of operator AV drilling. The jurisdiction of such a specialist is limited to the tank farm where you have the oil. The auditors viewed these visits as suspicious and a possible indicator of collusion between the operator and Dacquising. Now, one of the most disturbing findings of this entire report was that the internal audit team found that most of the employees they were interacting with during the course of the investigations, that they were more intent on seeking the interest of the operator rather than the interest of the company Petrotrin. The team recommended that President of Petrotrin does certain things, get a legal opinion, install what is called a lease automatic custody transfer unit, is called a LACT. I am told that thing costs about $200,000 US, but when you talk about millions of dollars, you could more than afford to put it. That one you cannot thief, you can't hide. It's a machine, a digital reader. Whatever goes in there, you can't tamper or change it. They're saying to put, I'm told more other companies have this LACT, LACT. The big companies, BP and others. I'm told even from your constituency MP, API, I think they have a LACT. But for some reason, this financier friend has no LACT. So they could tamper and fraudulently change it. Now, as we move on, this is my call. This is what I call for today. I call on the President and the Chair of Petrotrin to tell the population what actions have been taken by the Prime Minister's new board to act on these recommendations, given that this report was completed on the 17th of August. This is 3 weeks or more ago. I want to call on the President of the board and the board, the Prime Minister's new board, to immediately terminate the contract of A&V Gas and Oil for cause. And if the board will not do it, then the Minister of Energy should provide the country with the reasons for such a decision. I want to announce today that I intend to write to the Commissioner of Police, the Director of Public Prosecutions, the head of the Fraud Squad, and the Integrity Commission, enclosing copies of this report. And requesting that immediate criminal investigation be commenced into the actions of those responsible for this fraud being perpetrated on the people of our country to the tune of almost $100 million. I want to call for the immediate removal of the Minister of Energy, under whose watch this has occurred and whom has taken no action against those responsible for this fraud. This is the same Minister Franklin Khan, I want to remind you, only last week had to be shamed for his blatant attempts to cover up Port Authority corruption and defense by bullying the Port Authority official CEO Charmaine Lewis at the JSC in the Ferrygate last week, to the point where she had to tell him he could not silence her from incriminating P&M officials. I want to remind you of another fake oil scandal, and I want to tell you, I've looked at the numbers during our term in office, and there is no fake oil scandal in the 5 years we were in office. But I want to remind you of a fake oil scandal that happened before our time, with the same P&M years ago, where it is alleged that Mr. Franklin Khan, because he would have then been Mr. Franklin Khan then, and one Nazir Ali were both employed by a company found to have been reporting fake oil. In this year's fake oil scandal, they said Mr. Franklin Khan is now what? Minister of Energy. And they said Nazir Ali was working for whom? A&V drilling. You know, if I could draw a Venn diagram is the circles. You'll have two circles here, right? And there's a point where they overlap. And what is common? So here you had the company before, I think it was Ventia Petroleum, and here you have AV Drilling. What is common to both of them? Or who is common? Franklin Khan and Nazir Ali. Interesting. I'm not saying that the minister, whatever, but this happened under his watch, and he should be removed forthwith. And you know, the Prime Minister crying crocodile tears about Petrotrin and the worries and the what, and he will not tell you, when he was in government in the PNM, that they are responsible for the bankruptcy of Petrotrin at this time. Let them not forget that. They spent $3 billion in a gas to liquids plant. You remember that? Never produced a cent of revenue for this country. They, under their administration, Petrotrin spent $3.59 billion in cost overruns on a gas optimization project. You remember that? It was under the PNM in excess of $400 million spent building a headquarters. You know, when you drive on the highway, you could see it. A piece of concrete we can all see by Gasparilla when you're crossing the highway. More than $1 billion was spent in cost overruns on the gas optimization project. And that's the reason why Petrotrin is in the position it is today, because corruption, scandal, and mismanagement by the PNM over the years. You see, when I tell you the hallmark of the PNM, crime, corruption, waste, and mismanagement, these are the things I'm speaking of. A legacy of squandermania, theft and wastage of our oil rights since 1956. Every time they come in power, they embark on a program to cut away, as I said, all the social programs. Using that oil wealth, they instead funnel it into the hands of their 1% financiers, family, and friends. So time and again, we have seen this, this trend. And now we see something very interesting with Rowley PNM. Here is the Prime Minister at the top of the ladder. And next to him is Deputy Political Leader Rohan Sinanan, who is embroiled now in controversy with respect to corruption. The other Deputy Political Leader of the PNM is it Marlene? Marlene MacDonald, also embroiled in controversy about some bank account and source of funds. Then you have Camille Robinson-Regis, also in controversy. No, she's the one with the bank account, sorry. Marlene is with respect porting. She get hired twice, she get fired twice. And Camille with the bank account, she's the one. So you have Faris Alwar in controversy with the Army Gate. Yes? Clarence Rambarat in controversy about the shooting range. All these high-ranking officials, and today I've shared with you where the Minister of Energy, who is what? The chairman of the PNM, embroiled now in the scandal of fake oil. So we are seeing a clear pattern emerging of corruption and scandal with respect to the present government in office. My time has almost run out. I wanted to share some time to talk to you about crime, because you know crime is the burning issue from every single poll. And let me spend a short moment on that before we move on. 96% of the population, through the polls, have said the top issue, that is the burning issue in the minds of citizens, 96% have said government crime as the top issue. And 75% have condemned how the government is handling the crime. We know that. So let me ask you this today. Do you feel safe anywhere in Trinidad and Tobago under this government? In your homes, do you feel safe? Getting to and from your workplace, do you feel safe? Going to the grocery, do you feel safe? Going to the parlor down the road, do you feel safe? It saddens me the state we have reached after 2 years, wasted years. Gone are the days when you could feel comfortable walking the streets, going about your daily lives. You know, I can't remember before you see the children playing cricket and football out in the streets and in the village. Now you have to hide your children because they're kidnapping them. You have to hide them. Since the return of the Rowley PNM to government, crime escalated enormously. You know, since September, when they came in office to now, over 1,000 murders have occurred. And even as I'm speaking, reports are probably coming in. In the 2 years they've been in office, over 1,000 murders. I've said before, it's an established fact. You look at the stats. Every time the PNM is in power, crime goes up and the economy goes down. Flashback, every single PNM regime, past 2 decades, from the Manning administration of 91 to 95, the Manning regime of 2002 to 10, and now the Rowley regime to the present, all have been marked by these common denominators. Crime, runaway crime, incompetence, mismanagement, corruption, and discrimination, and always especially crime. I want to point out that in the previous regimes that the present Prime Minister served as a deputy leader and a senior member of the cabinet, so he presided over these things as well. And with regards to crime, every time they come into office, the crime rates rise, but you know what? They just rise, it gets worse and worse. In the first regime in 1991, we had a slew of brazen murders, rapes, robberies, domestic violence. And by the next decade, when they came back in power, citizens were subjected to crime, kidnapping for ransom, and fear every day of their lives. I wonder if you could remember those days. People set up vigilante groups. You remember that? Well, we are back to that. We are back to the future now. Back to back. They are governing from a rearview mirror. Every time you ask them, tell me what's your plan? What are you going to do? How are we going to get the economy going? How we will deal with crime? They say, well, it's Kamla's fault. They are governing with a rearview mirror. They're going backwards, in charge, backwards. And we are getting nowhere forward fast under this government, or at all. When parents were terrified, you remember those days, to send your children anywhere because they were snatching them and torturing them and murdering them. They wanted ransom. Parents had to send their children abroad to keep them safe. And just when you thought they couldn't get any worse, in comes the red and ready Rowley regime. So, not only is it worse now, believe it or not, what is more frightening is our citizens have now lost any hope in living in a country where crime rates are lower, where terror does not reign. Look at us today, look at this country. I can hardly recognize Trinidad and Tobago today after just 2 short years. Under the government I led, under the government where our ministers were there with us, we had a strong, stable, and growing economy. We had progressive policies aimed at empowering single parents, poor children. We had a country that the United Nations highlighted us as one of the first in the world to achieve ahead of countries like the US. We were the first to achieve Millennium MDG goals with universal early childhood education with Dr. Tim. So much was happening. Our citizens were benefiting from so much, and today what do we see? And I just want to, I want to say something. You're saying all I'm doing here is complain and I have nothing to offer. Well, I'll tell you, in the 5 years we were there, we set the platform for takeoff. We brought serious crime down by the lowest in 31 years. Enter red and ready. Crime run away again. And I set that platform, and we set that platform because we understood that our human resource is the greatest resource of any nation. We invested heavily in education so that our children growing up to be young men and women will be qualified to do the jobs of the 21st century. We gave them the laptops, you remember? So they would have been ready for the 4th industrial revolution. The old industrial revolution is gone, The 4th industrial revolution is going to be in what? Information technology, the digital world. We were preparing our children, go to Singapore, see what's happening there. We always boast about their system and their education system. What they were doing was educating their young ones. And so a company like Texas Instruments could just go into Singapore and say, you know what, we want 4,000 people. And they could find 4,000 qualified people for the jobs. Who wants to come here? Foreign direct investment now has gone out the drain, down into the fake oil, washed away by the disaster that is the Rowley PNM. So that is what we were doing. You ask me what I would do about crime now? I would not sit and pretend these bills they're bringing will solve crime because the legislation alone doesn't do it. Well, you know what I would have done and what we were planning to do? Fazal is here somewhere. I would have had that university campus in the south open. We would have set up specialist training for forensics and all skills in policing. We would have had that taking place there. You wouldn't have the forensic pathologist, Alexandrov, complaining bitterly, and they still wouldn't listen to the man until he had to resign. We would have set up specialist training, specialist forensic and training for military personnel, law enforcement officers. And so we could have done that there. Of course, we're going to have a law faculty. That was just the tip of the iceberg. We would have the law faculty there too. And that way we would have created a center of training and capability to help us fight the criminals and to have our children qualified for jobs in our country, jobs that are needed. And so look at what they've done to us in just 2 short years. Not only are people, children, mothers, fathers, grandmothers being murdered in their beds as they sleep, but it seems as there is nowhere to turn for help. Nowhere whatsoever under this government. We have lost as a population all sense of security, all sense of personal security, and that cherished feeling of safety. Our Constitution enshrines our rights to safety and security of person and property. Every single day in our country, that right, that fundamental right, is violated time and time again by the callous indifference and the incompetence of the lazy, rolly government. Just imagine, this is what we have come to. Mothers leaving their children by trusted babysitters and neighbors in gated communities, by friends during the day to go out, never go out and earn a living. They come back home to meet their children slaughtered, dead in their homes. Women walking the streets in our country today, coming from work in the middle of the day, or going into a store, end up dead, slaughtered and murdered. Our little sons and daughters leave home to go to buy something in a parlor, or they're going to school, and they never come back home. When they are found, it's because their lifeless bodies have been mutilated, desecrated in the most inhumane, brutal manner that you can imagine. And just imagine, this is Trinidad and Tobago 2 years after the Red and Ready came in. You go to the mall to do your business. In fact, in any area where you park, and when you head back to your car, you're in a state of panic. You know why? Because you don't know if your car will still be there. You leave a place you've gone to, you're always looking back. Review mirror again, because you don't know who's come from behind you to slaughter you. You don't know. You don't know if the cars behind you are people trying to cut you off the road or trying to kidnap and kill you. Because every week, this is what we are reading. This is what we are witnessing in our country. Human trafficking, murders, rapes, torture. We are living in a state of terror and trauma. And there is no hope coming from the Rowley government. None whatsoever. None. Not even a word of sympathy. Women being battered and brutalized. I think we saw it on I.A.N's program just now. You know, the Prime Minister will tell you, I am not in your bedroom. Who the hell wants him in their bedroom anyhow? Women brutalized. And that's his answer as a Prime Minister. Instead of the man saying, listen, instead of, he cut all these social programs to help the single mothers and so on. That's where his mind is. A Prime Minister of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. We are in a time now when, you know, if you call a friend or family or elderly person especially, at any hour of the day, and if they don't answer the phone, you call once or twice, what happened? You're panicking. You're panicking. Because these days, grandmothers' throats are being slit in their beds. This is where we reach. Tell me, is this the country you thought you would have to grow up and live in? Is this the country you want to raise your children in? That is a question I ask you today. Is this the country you pay tax dollars for? Hard-earned money. Look, make no mistake, and politics aside. It gives me no pleasure when the government is failing on crime. They've asked for a cooperation. We are going to cooperate with them where it is in the best interest of Trinidad and Tobago. We will cooperate. Because we are citizens here too. We have friends and family and loved ones, and we want everyone to be safe. So we will help them. We will help them. But you see, sometimes they harden and they don't take help. Their attitude, their arrogance, that's where they fall down every single day. But today I say we are willing to cooperate with the government for the benefit of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. But make no mistake, if they're doing something or bringing something that is to the detriment of Trinidad and Tobago and the people of our country, we will fight them, we will fight it down, and we'll make sure in all our powers that it doesn't happen. And again, let me say, I had a choice many years ago, you know. I didn't have to come back to live in Trinidad. Many of you here who are serving as well. I lived abroad for many years. In fact, they used to call me the perpetual student because I was forever doing more and more educational things. And I had that choice. I could have stayed abroad. You know, we have some people like that, you know. They're writing in the newspapers from abroad, complaining and condemning, they never come here to put 1 minute of time to help build this country. I could have stayed back. But I came back home. I came back home to make a difference to the land of my birth and my heritage, this, my native land. And since then, I have never stopped working. Through the hardest years and through the best years, I have never stopped working to try to improve the quality of life of the people of our country. So when I see all that we have done as a people becoming undone, destroyed in 2 years, by a government of deceit and lies, you could imagine the pain that I feel for you and for our blessed country. And whilst all this is happening, where is the Prime Minister? MIA, missing in action. So many times of crisis he is MIA, missing in action. And what is their strategy? Do they have a strategy to improve the quality of life of people in Trinidad and Tobago? No. Do they have a strategy to improve their quality of life? The answer is yes. And let me share this with you. They definitely have a plan. Their plan is lock up. Every time they speak, they can't help it, lock up. Well, I want to warn you of the saying, when you dig hole for somebody else, you better dig your own hole, because that's where you're going to fall. Because I want to see from this Petrotrin fake oil scandal, somebody has to be locked up. Somebody has to get locked up. And we will fight it and we will expose them. Somebody had to get locked up for that Tobago fairy tale. Somebody had to get locked up. And there is much more. We will have another day when we'll speak. I'll give you installment number 2 on P&M corruption on another day. So for the time being, with nothing to show for the past 2 years in office, 2 wasted years, nothing to show, this is their strategy. Their strategy is this. The last 24 months have proved the warnings we gave you before September 2015, they have come to pass. Dr. Rowley and his cabinet have no plans to govern the country. I've talked to you about the crime. You all already know the issues with the economy, the job losses, the lack of foreign exchange and so on. 2 wasted years. Over the past few weeks, I have witnessed a dangerous pattern of behavior. A pattern of behavior that is not new to us and has always been a characteristic of the P&M when they cannot deliver to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Because they have nothing to show over the past 24 months, the Rowley P&M has resorted to their only means of seeking to hold on to power, and that is to seek to govern by fear, to seek to govern by dividing people, to seek to govern by intimidating those who stand up to their wrongdoing. This week there was an advertisement placed in the newspaper asking for applications for the post of Commissioner of Police. Now I am of the view that the P&M and this Rowley government has a plan to use elements in the police service to terrorize people, to lock up people, to intimidate people. They have a plan. I read something in the Express, I think, today, where they said sources in the Express, sources told the Express that Mr. Garrick, who was in the special branch, that he was transferred because he refused to carry out a political directive. Because he refused. That's what the Express is reporting today. So the PNM, as they have always done, will use this tool to exercise control and political control and influence over the police service. I'm warning you today, see. So when you see them rampaging all over the place, you will understand and remember my words. I told you so. The Rowley PNM has turned the filling of the office of Commissioner of Police as a competition now for those who could deliver the most members of the opposition on the altar of criminal prosecution, and looking for those who will save the Rowley PNM from criminal prosecution. So that is why every day you're hearing this one going and get locked up, that one going and locked up. I see I.A.N. telling them come and lock him up too. I don't know why. He says, you see, but once you show them up, you show their wrongdoing, what happens? They want to lock you up. We saw it happen before. Huh? We saw it. Today I want to tell you, I want to warn you, they will attack us in the opposition and our activists and supporters. They will seek to use the police service to trump up charges against members and supporters, to seek to convince you that they are fighting corruption. But you know what? If you look at the polls again, government handling no corruption, the majority say, no. Waste of time. Waste of time. Today, I tell you, the opposition I lead, and me personally, we will not be intimidated by the PNM and their threats. We are not afraid of you. We will continue to fight for the people of this country against the oppression and suffering of the Rowley PNM. No matter what the consequences, we will fight them. The opposition I lead will continue to expose the Rowley PNM corruption, such as I've demonstrated today, and we will not stop until the Rowley regime is removed from office. I have noticed suddenly there is an eagerness to bring to a close certain investigations and to target and threaten individuals close to the opposition with criminal prosecution, arrests, and charges. Today I want to ask them this. Same ones who want to fast-track anything dealing with the opposition, I want to ask them if they will fast-track certain investigations with the same eagerness. The investigation into the CLICO fiasco and those who were responsible for government of our country spending more than $20 billion to protect policy holders. This investigation has been ongoing since 2009. How many years is that? 18. 18 years. 9 years. I'm not very good with figures. 2009 to 18, 17. 9 and 8 years, 9 and 8. Tens of millions of dollars spent on that investigation, not one person has been charged. Is it because there are high-ranking members of the PNM involved that we are seeing no closure to this investigation? And remember, the report done by the Commission of Inquiry about this CLICO fiasco, was a Coleman report. They brought the report and they hide it. And when we applied on the Freedom of Information Act, they're refusing to make it public. Is it that there are PNM financiers and PNM officials involved in this matter? I also want to ask, what has become of the investigation of a nice lady by the name of Karen Nunez Teixeira? That was sent to the office of the DPP since 2011 by the Integrity Commission. This former Minister of Finance was investigated by the Integrity Commission for breaching the Integrity Act when she withdrew her monies from CLICO while holding the portfolio of Finance Minister under the PNM in January 2009. After 8 years, the file is still at the office of the DPP. And I always remember MP Munilal saying, this happened Olia's night. Yeah, Olia's night, she went on Olia's day, she went to withdraw. He said, when everybody else staying home and putting on Q-Tex and getting, makeup and whatever, this lady ran to the bank. Curlers in her hair, she getting ready to go out for Olia's night. This lady went to the bank secretly, quietly, when everybody else going to lose their money. She knew beforehand. So she withdrew her own money. What has happened to the investigation into the 60 million P&M scholarship slush fund? This matter was sent to the Commissioner of Police in 2013 with evidence for charges for misconduct and behavior, misconduct in public office, for conspiracy to defraud against a former P&M Community Development Minister. Up to this day, not a word. What has happened to the criminal investigation into the incident where the children of the AG were on a shooting range with these big high-powered guns? What has happened to that? What has happened in the investigation by the fraud squad into allegations of perjury against Calder Hart? Where the John F. Commission of Inquiry into Utica, that matter has been before the DPP since 2010. No conclusion, no word years later. What has happened about the investigation into a present minister making substantial deposits into a local commercial bank without the relevant source of funds declarations? You know, I could go on and on with these. No haste in concluding these long outstanding investigations of P&M abuse of power and corruption in public office. Instead, they are intent on using their power to try to appoint a commissioner of police as a political device to take control of the police service, to exercise political control over ongoing investigations. How could the Prime Minister talk about MP Munilal and say when MP Munilal goes to court? Not if, you know, when he goes to court. What does he know that the Commissioner of Police doesn't know? But this is where, this is their tool, this is their weapon, because they are totally incompetent. On top of that, they are wicked and they are lazy. So they have to use the brute force of the state to achieve their ends. The history of the P&M is to divide and govern by fear and intimidation. We must never forget her. Never ever forget the words of the former Prime Minister, Manning, God rest his soul. You remember what he told us about this particular Rottweiler? Do you remember? Remember what he told us? If you cross him, he becomes a raging bull. And Wajang, I heard he would Wajang as well. So that one is very clear. Never forget that. It was a warning from a man, Mr. Manning, who had known him for a long time. He had known him for quite a period of time. The country is now really getting the true picture of Keith Christopher Rowley in office as Prime Minister. As I close, I say we live in fear and we seem to be hopeless, without hope and so on. But remember, there is always hope. Always hope. Never give up. Never. Your party is here. We are listening and we are getting ready to govern again with your help. The UNC is as strong as it has ever been, and we will continue to grow from strength to strength. The reason I keep fighting and we keep fighting is because we care about the future of our country. I am disgusted by the utter incompetence of the Rowley regime. As a nation, we are so much better than what we can see and what we are seeing from this government. Your support, your ideas keep me strong and keeps us strong. Work with us in preparing our plans to restore confidence, stability, and growth. And so once again, I call on all citizens interested in building our beloved nation to step forward, join us, and let us work together. I believe in the people of our country. I believe that together we can continue the good work which was started under our administration. Together we can repair the catastrophe inflicted by the Rowley government. They have nothing to show us for 24 months. And when that budget comes, if you think things bad, when they finish to reach that budget, is then you will see bad. Or just will get worse and worse and worse, if there's such a word. That budget is going to floor us. Wait and let us see. They have nothing to show. Early this week, we saw the polls and nothing to tell us with those polls. So I want to thank all of you very much for being here with us. I want to say together we shall grow from strength to strength. The UNC, your team, our team, remains the best option for Trinidad and Tobago. Let us join hands and work together as we continue to put God in front and walk behind. Let us join hands together to take back our country from this wicked, incompetent, ruling regime. God bless you. Go home safe. Thank you very much.
A woman like no other, to many a mother. Some say she is the mother of this nation because of
Ladies
the love
and
she has for the
gentlemen,
population, and she is a true
we know that they are going to come
This
after
lady,
our corruption buster.
and if you know her, you
They
will see
want
what
to
I mean.
shut us up. They want to shut her up. But I want to tell her, fight. We are with you.
And made sure we were safe and could sleep sound in the night.
Brothers and
All she had was
sisters,
love for
please hold your seats. Please stay where you are as we invite our brother, our election officer, none other than Mr. Don Sylvester, for the renewal of the pledge for constituency executives.
Thank you. Thank you. Good afternoon, political leader, the Honorable Kamala Prasad-Bissessar, Party Chairman David Lee. This afternoon we are about to install the executives. So I'm asking all those executive members. They already installed, is a renewal. We are renewing your past installation. So all executive members, please stand. I'm seeing from in the west, I'm seeing Port of Spain, I'm seeing Pinal, I'm seeing Oropuch. Once you're an executive member, please stand and repeat after me. Dan LaFleur, see outside with Barry, come closer. Please repeat after me. I solemnly pledge to uphold the party constitution, rules and policies of the United National Congress, to strive my best to maintain the dignity of the United National Congress, to carry out myself and conduct all business in such a manner to bring pride to my party and in furtherance of the goals and objectives of the UNC. Now I want on behalf of my leader, our leader, the Honorable Kamala Prasad-Bissessar, to again welcome you all as duly sworn-in constituency executive members of the UNC. You know your rules. Let's build the UNC together. Go forward, get rid of the PNM in your constituency, and bring back Kamala Prasad-Bissessar and the UNC back in office to run this country properly. I thank you.
Hold on, please, brothers and sisters. At this point in time, I'd like to bring to you none other than our deputy political leader and senator, Ms. Khadija Amin.
Thank you very much, young, vibrant Denicia. Give Denicia a round of applause. I want to ask you not to leave. I know the address of the political leader that had so many startling revelations was a highlight of today's Congress. Give our leader another round of applause. The Constitution of the United National Congress makes provisions for resolutions to be moved and adopted by this body called the National Congress. And so we have had 7 such resolutions which were received by our General Secretary for this Congress. And so I ask every one of you to keep your seats as we begin with the resolutions that were received by the General Secretary. And the first resolution came from St. Joseph Constituency Executive, a resolution entitled Continued Support for Kamala Prasad-Bissessar, SC. And we want to ask the other movers and seconders of resolutions to get yourselves behind the microphone so we can quickly go to the next resolution. Please state your name for the record.
I'm Salima Saheed Papanet, Welfare Officer, St. Joseph Constituency.
On the 5th of December 2015, the membership of the United National Congress with one resounding voice returned Mrs. Kamala Persad-Bissessar SC as the political leader of the United National Congress, along with her victorious team UNC. This victory ensured putting us back on the road to government. And the Honorable Mrs. Kamala Persad-Bissessar has been able to deliver strong leadership and ensure that the UNC is strong and alive. Also, to the Honorable Mrs. Persad-Bissessar, strong leadership has been able to ensure the membership base and the United National Congress continues to grow. No better example can be made by the large number of persons that took part in the just concluded constituency executive elections. And the new persons, like myself, have now come forward to serve our great party, especially the constituency of St. Joseph. We, the newly elected constituency executive of St. Joseph, pledge that their support to you as the leader of the National Congress and shall ensure that the St. Joseph constituency seat return to the United National Congress and return to government. Finally, the elected National Congress St. Joseph constituency executive do hereby declare full support for Mrs. Kamala Persad-Bissessar as leader of the United National Congress. Be resolved, this duly continued National Congress of the United National Congress does hereby declare full support for you, Mrs. Kamala Persad-Bissessar, as the leader of the United National Congress. Mr. Chairman, I hereby move United National Congress St. Joseph constituency.
Thank you very much, Madam Welfare Officer. Do we have a seconder for a resolution to continue support for the present leader of the UNC, Mrs. Kamala Persad-Bissessar?
Yes, I am Clarita Rivas. I am a member of the constituency in St. Joseph Executive. I'm the treasurer and I second that.
Those in favor say aye. Aye. Should I really ask if anyone is against? No. Any against? No. We move quickly to the second resolution, which is entitled a resolution of no confidence in the 3 ministers of national security due to their lack of dealing with the crime situation in Trinidad and Tobago.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Denise Robinson, the election officer of the Laventille East Executive. September the 10th, 2017, resolution, no confidence in the 3 Ministry of the National Security due to their lack of dealing with the crime situation in Trinidad and Tobago. Mr. Chairman, whereas since the government of Trinidad and Tobago took office in September 7, 2017, crime has been out of control. Murders was happening daily and now kidnapping has returned. And whereas the current murder rate has gone past 300 mark, and the 3 ministries of national security has gone silent and cannot even be seen. Our nation's women and children are now victims of crime, even our elderly. Persons' homes are no longer a safe place of safety, as our homes are being broken into and even vandalized by the criminals. And whereas, due to the high crime in Trinidad and Tobago, images are severely affected in the eyes of persons looking on internationally, as the former British High Commission commented on the way crime has gotten out of control in Trinidad and Tobago. Be it resolved that is duly constituted National Congress of the United National Congress does hereby declare no confidence in all 3 ministries of the national security and call for their resignation or removal from the Cabinet of Government of Trinidad and Tobago. Mr. Chairman, I hereby move.
Do we have someone to second that motion of no confidence in the Ministers of National Security?
I, Galen Mentor, Women's Affairs Officer of Laventil East Executive, second this motion.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Do we have any against? The resolution of no confidence in the three ministers of national security is hereby moved. Next, we have a resolution from the youth arm of the party with regards to the government of Trinidad and Tobago to rescind the changes made to the GATE program and to return to the original program. Please just state your name.
Nicholas Ramprasad, Urupuch West. Whereas the GATE program was created out of the Dollar for Dollar program for easy accessibility to students to attain a tertiary level education, and the GATE program was widened by the People's Partnership Government to include technical and vocational studies. And whereas the PNM in its 2015 manifesto promised to the people to preserve, maintain, and expand where necessary our system of free education and training at all levels, and ensure that the government assistance for tertiary expenses GATE system, which we created in 2004, remains relevant, easily accessible, and available to all citizens who need it. And whereas the Rowley-led cabinet appointed a task force to review the GATE program, and based on a report of the task force that was compiled with no major consultations with stakeholders, namely the students and universities. And whereas Cabinet adopted recommendations of the report, A, introduction of a means test, B, discontinuance of funding to medical students studying at the St. George's University, Grenada, C, cutting postgraduate programs, D, no funding to students over the age of 50. The changes to GATE program would lead to uncertainty and discrimination. Be it resolved that this duly constituted National Congress of the United National Congress does hereby, 1, the government of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago to continue to provide free tertiary education to all its citizens. 2, that the changes made to the GATE program be rescinded and the original program be retained. Madam Chairperson, I hereby move.
Do we have a seconder for that motion on GATE?
I, Avinash Pagu of Siparia, would second this motion.
Those in favor say aye. Aye. Do we have any against? The resolution for the government of Trinidad and Tobago to rescind the changes made to the GATE program and retain the original program is hereby approved. Next, we go to the resolution of no confidence in the Minister of Works and Transport due to the current situation with the Tobago Sea Bridge.
Good afternoon. My name is Govinda Ramlogan from Tobago West. Resolution: no confidence in the Minister of Works and Transport and the correct members of the Board of the Port Authority of Trinidad and Tobago due to the current situation with the Tobago Sea Bridge and the clear corrupt practice to acquire the Cabo Star and Ocean Flower. Mr. Chairman, whereas since the government of Trinidad and Tobago failed to extend the contract of the Superfast Galicia and acquired the Cabo Star and Ocean Flower through the Port Authority, we have seen the award of a contract to a company that is not registered in Trinidad and Tobago. And whereas the government through this fiasco has continued their neglect to the people of Tobago. Due to this neglect, Tobagonians are unavailable to receive basic amenities to survive. Groceries are running empty, as was shown via the media due to this fiasco. And whereas, due to this fiasco, the said vessel's contract was terminated, thereby showing the incompetence of those involved in the procurement of the said vessels. Be it resolved that this duly constituted National Congress of the United National Congress does hereby declare no confidence in the current Minister of Works and Transport and call for his immediate resignation or removal from the cabinet of the government of Trinidad and Tobago, and further remove the entire board of the Port Authority of Trinidad and Tobago. Mr. Chairman, I hereby move Member representing Tobago West, Govinda Ram Logan. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do we have a seconder for that motion?
I, Nigel Kwashi from Laventil East Executive, second the motion.
Thank you. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Any against? The resolution for the no confidence in the Minister of Works and Transport due to the current situation with the Tobago Sea Bridge is hereby approved. We have a resolution of no confidence in the Minister of Social Development due to her removal of the many social programs and contracts being terminated by this administration.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Lisa Ram-Logan, and I'm the Welfare Officer for the Women's Arm of the UNC. Good evening. Acknowledgement to the Honorable Leader, members of NUTUCS, ministers, officials, attendees, media. Good evening. Resolution of no confidence in the Minister of Social Development due to her removal of many various social assistance programs, welfare grants, and on the number of social workers and officers whose contracts were terminated or not renewed by this administration. Mr. Chairman, whereas since the appointment of the Minister of Social Development, there has been a removal and/or limitation of many of the various social national welfare programs, community and support services, welfare grants, social workers, officers whose contracts were terminated or not renewed by this present administration. And whereas there is presently been many families who have been thrown into hardship due to these severe measures. Parents are unable to feed their families. Disabled persons are unable to receive disability grants. To them, many skilled personnel are now unemployed. Be it resolved that this duly constituted National Congress of the United National Congress does hereby declare no confidence in the current Minister of Social Development and call for her resignation or removal from the cabinet of the government of Trinidad and Tobago, and further call on the government to provide a comprehensive report to the nation on the motives as to the limitation and/or withdrawal of these vital social assistance programs, welfare grants, and on the number of social workers and officers whose contracts were terminated or not renewed by this administration. Mr. Chairman, I hereby move.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder for that resolution?
I, Debbie Neptune, Women Affairs Officer for San Fernando East, second the motion of Welfare Officer for the UNC. Thank you.
Those in favor say aye. Aye. Any against? The motion of no confidence in the Minister of Social Development is approved. We have the resolution on the PNM's handling of the economy of Trinidad and Tobago.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. I am Saleh Crisal, Chairman of the County Central Executive. My resolution is something which affects me very heavily because I'm in the manufacturing business and I do need monies as well for the building of my industry. So it falls directly with me as one of those people who are very much affected in the situation. And my resolution, whereas businesses starved of foreign exchange and operating in a contracting economy are faced with the prospect of closure and foreclosure. Whereas the working class is being constantly threatened with loss of jobs and the number of unemployed is growing. whereas families are having difficulty making ends meet and a challenge to put food on the table, whereas consumers are afraid to spend because of the growing uncertainty around them, whereas people are losing hope because they are unable to see how things will get better under this government led by Dr. Keith Rowley. Whereas this government, after 2 years, offer no direction, identified no economic priorities, and have no plan for economic recovery. Whereas every economic sector continues to decline, with all except one showing negative growth as the recession deepens. Ladies and gentlemen, be it resolved that this United National Congress condemn the Rowley-led government and demand that the Rowley government put forward a recovery plan for Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rizal. Do we have a seconder for this motion?
My name is Rajendra Samsunar. I am an executive member of the Caroni Central constituency. I hereby second the resolution as proposed by my chairman of Caroni Central constituency, Mr. Salik Rizal. Thank you.
Thank you. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
The resolution on the PNM's handling of the economy of Trinidad and Tobago is hereby approved. And our final resolution is on a matter that has been very dear to our then Prime Minister and soon to be Prime Minister again. And it is on the health sector. And it is moved by the chairman of the Caroni East Executive, Dr. Rishi Sicharan.
Thank you, Senator. I would like to bring this resolution on behalf of the constituents of Caroni East. Firstly, whereas during the tenure of Terence Dial Singh as Minister of Health, there has been a consistent and critical shortage of essential pharmaceuticals available to the regional health authorities and the Chronic Disease Assistance Program. As reported in the Trinidad Guardian on Sunday 9, 2017, there are chronic shortages in medications for diabetes, hypertension, heart disease, arthritis, and depression. There has been a failure to procure and distribute drugs such as metformin, simvastatin, enalapril, and insulin. There has also been a scarcity of vaccines such as tetanus and chickenpox. Secondly, during the tenure of Terence Dial Singh as Minister of Health, there has been limited access to the population of diagnostic services. The Trinidad Guardian on Thursday, 15, 2017, reported that there are currently 1,200 outpatients awaiting MRI and CT scans at the San Fernando General Hospital. We are advocating for the government to utilize the state-of-the-art 64-slice CT scanner and Tesla MRI scanner at the COUVA Children's Hospital. This would significantly reduce the long backlog of patients awaiting these radiological modalities. Thirdly, whereas during the tenure of Terence Dial Singh as Minister of Health, there has been a painstaking delay for critical life-saving procedures such as dialysis and cardiac bypass surgeries that has forced many to seek alternative private medical care, which we all know is an expensive proposition. Fourthly, whereas during the tenure of Terence Dial Singh as Minister of Health, there are at least 150 unemployed, newly graduated doctors awaiting to enter their compulsory internship. As reported in the Saturday Express on the 4th of July 2017, the Minister of Education has lamented the difficulty in finding internship spots for medical graduates of the University of the West Indies. And without this one-year internship period, the graduates cannot be registered as doctors. Lastly, whereas during the tenure of Terence Dial Singh as Minister of Health, the PNM government has steadfastly refused to open the COUVA Children's Hospital, thereby inflicting further hardship on the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Be it further resolved that this duly constituted National Congress of the United National Congress does hereby declare no confidence in the Minister of Health
and demands his immediate removal from the cabinet of the government of Trinidad and Tobago. We also make the call to open the COUVA Children's Hospital. Mr. Chairman, I hereby move.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Do we have a seconder for this resolution?
I, Chandrika Sahadev, Secretary of Karen East Executive, second this resolution by our chairman, Dr. Rishi Sicharan.
Thank you very much. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Any against? The resolution of no confidence in the Minister of Health is hereby approved. My friends, my brothers and sisters, those of you, please submit your resolutions that you read. Give it to Brian. But I want to ask you to stay in your seats as we have one item of entertainment to close off our evening of fellowship at our National Congress. And it is a gentleman by the name of G.I. And he has some new hits that are #1 and #2 songs every day on the Chutney Soca stations, countdowns. So let us make some noise for our brother, G.I.
Yeah, look at it. Can I see everybody put their hands in the air? Let me go. Ujaram naam ka pakalobi kya baya mera ka kya baya mera ka kya baya mera ka ujaram naam ka pakalobi kya baya mera ka ujaram naam ka everybody put your flags in the air. Everybody, let me go. Flags in the air. Put the flags in the air. Hands in the air. Hands in the air. Hands in the air. I want you all make some noise to the UNC. Say yeah, yeah. रामचरण में जो कोई आवत सकल पाप कट जाई रामचरण में जो कोई आवत सकल पाप कट जाती जुई चरणन से स्वसरी निकली सकल जता Everybody clap your hands. उजारा clap your hands. पक्का भी क्या बया में रखा उजारा नाम का पक्का भी क्या बया में रखा क्या बया में रखा क्या बया में रखा उजाराम नाम का पक्का भी क्या बया में रखा उजाराम नाम Can I see everybody put your flags in the air? If you love UNC, flags in the air, flags in the air, flags in the air, flags in the air, hands in the air, hands in the air. I want you all make some noise for our leader, Mrs. Kamala, Pasabi Sasa. Say yeah, yeah. Everybody get off your seat, get off your chair, get off your chair. 1, 2, 3, let me go. Dr. Bono. Mr. Munilal. I want to say happy birthday to Jay then. Happy birthday, Jay. Everybody keep it up in the air. Wave it so. Dunia daulat malik jana baniya bait ladai Hey dunia daulat malik jana baniya bait ladai wo jane maya sang gaye I want to see everybody clap your hands. Everybody. उजाराम नाम का पक्का भी क्या बया में रखा उजाराम नाम का पक्का भी क्या बया में रखा क्या बया में रखा क्या बया में रखा उजाराम नाम का पक्का भी क्या बया में रखा उजाराम नाम का Pakalovi kya baya mein rakha. Make some noise. Give me the next track one time before we go. Everybody sing with me. Oh, oh, oh. If you love the UNC, can I see everybody wave so with me? Oh, oh, oh. Let me go. Hands in the air. Put up your hands in the air. Put up your hands in the air. Hands in the air. Hands in the air. In the हवाओं में, in फिजाओं में, in हवाओं में, in फिजाओं में, तुझको मेरा प्यार पुकारे, आजा आजा रे, तुझको मेरा. I want to hear everybody sing with me. 1, 2, 3. Oh 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 oh. Oh, I want you to sing this with me, right? Sing. Bye-bye, Rolly. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, Rolly. Bye-bye. Oh, let's sing. Bye-bye, Rolly. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, Rolly. Bye-bye. My name is G.I. I love you. Somebody, anybody, everybody scream.